Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good night. Auntie madam.
It's a chocolate, sir.
It was
Revision classes का आरंभ.
okay. So अच्छा स्वीट मीठा खा के मीठा शुरू कर देंगे इसलिए है.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है, great. I like that spirit. Very nice, madam. ठीक है. और मुझे मैं
Yes, sir.
everybody has been communicating at 1:35. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So good morning and good afternoon. So let us start the session. Welcome to the first session of R2C part 2. We've already done part 1, where we went through almost all the subject, more than 50% syllabus in one revision. I'm not sure how many of you know what you call reasonably about that, but nevertheless, okay, we'll go through that also once. We have already circulated that material. Theory material, I hope you have taken the print, and problem material we have just circulated yesterday. Those are the material. You can just open the material. First, open the theory material. Accounting standards have not been done in the revision class. This material has been circulated to all of you.
Yes, sir.
All of you open that material. Now, if my video visible? Am I
Yes,
visible?
Yes.
Am I visible
Yes,
or
sir.
video is visible? I don't know.
Both are visible, sir.
Both are visible. Ever smart. ठीक है. ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೇನ್ರೋ ದಿವ್ಯದೀಪ ನೀರು ಕುಡಿಯಕ್ಕೆ ತಿನ್ನಕ್ಕೆ
ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸರ್
ಓಕೆ ಗುಡ್ ಐ ಲೈಕ್ ಇಟ್. ಈಗ ಯಾರು ದಿವ್ಯ ಎಲ್ಲೋದು ದೀಪ ಎಲ್ಲೋದು ನೋಡ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರ ಆರ್ತಿ ಕೇಳಿ. ಆರ್ತಿ
Sir, the black one is, the one who raised her hand is Deepa. And the one is Deepa.
करेक्ट परफेक्ट सिंपल ओके ठीक है. Now if you observe the syllabus as we discussed now, account syllabus is reasonably limited. So now suddenly I realized I just casually made a statement in the exam session at that time, but whatever I say, by God's grace, it just falls in line. 7th day is Ganesh Chaturthi. From tomorrow, I just calculated in the break. So what we will do is, we will start the revision today, and part of the revision will be done by SMS sir, and I may come back for one more session if required, and we'll do test on Tuesday itself. Okay, so whatever the portion which you didn't complete by then, or whatever you feel that you are weak by looking at the test, mock test, so Wednesday during the Ganesha day, actually you can do it. Others to Ganesha festival, no doubt. So it's a big festival, but this year you can, from your personal point of view, keep it little low profile so that family member let them celebrate. You join the puja for half an hour, 1 hour, and then eat also reasonably. Okay, so 5 times instead of 3 times. Okay, okay. Now let us make one schedule. So your 200 pages book either. So again and again I'm telling you that every time I told, but people still don't follow. Maintain a separate book because it is impossible for you to go for a second and third revision in 1 day, 2 days. So entire material cannot be. That's why maintain a separate book. If you already maintain the 200 pages book, which I told at the beginning of the batch, excellent. That itself, you make another 100 pages problem. So you can just no problem. Or fresh book you take. Revision of the accounts. Now this material what has been given, this itself can be taken as a base. Here itself, you can keep on adding some points. So don't maintain too many books. Now we have got too many things. Your CAPS material, study material, MTP, RTP, notes book, everything. Now you have to condense everything. So this is like a pyramid structure we are doing it, okay? Where we have at the base level so many things. At the peak, you are going to require the best of the best information, okay? So that's the way. So maintain 1 or 2 books of 200 pages, so which can be used for revision during the last period. Wherever there is a necessity, so for example, the big Dow books problem, you cannot write down in the book. You write page number so and so of the CAPS material, study material, refer it. In that 200 pages only, right? So takka, you open that material and read it. So you don't have to waste your time in turning the pages. Sabko samajh mein aa raha hai?
Yes.
Okay, right? So now we have group 1 accounts, easiest subject, register yourself. Easiest subject, easiest. 100 is my target, 100 is my target, 100 is my target. Everybody can get 100. Now either, how do I plan? So we have got effectively 6 plus 1. Ganesh Chaturthi, 1 day extra buffer, we are getting it. So that one, how do we plan? Let us, this is my suggestion again. So you can just look at the topics, okay? The introduction and accounting standards, introduction to accounts and account standards should be covered in 2 days maximum, okay? Because group 1 account standards are not too many. Look at this, okay? So 2 days for introduction and account standards. Then company accounts, entire company accounts, bonus issue, preference share redemption. So profit private incorporation, then financial statement, managerial remuneration, all this in 2 days. So you have to plan such a way. So maybe half day for company introduction, final accounts, etc. Then insurance claims, loss of stock, then hire purchase, you can cover it in 1 day. Departmental branch and single entry in 1 day. So effectively 6 days. This is how you are supposed to plan. So this is complete the syllabus. I repeat, introduction and account start in 2 days maximum. So little extra time for practicing. If you think that you can do it in 1.5 days, I'm happy. Then entire company accounts up to chapter number 7 here in another 2 days. And 8, 9, 10, 8 and 8, 9 insurance claim, hire purchase. Maybe you can cover in 1 day. Okay. Then departmental branch, or maybe I think no. Insurance, hire purchase and department you can cover in 1 day. Then branch and single entry system you can keep for 1 day. Accordingly, that way you plan. Right. Now let us straight away get into the introduction. As all of you are aware, is it visible? Sabko visible hai?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So accounting is the art of RCSI, recording, classifying, summarizing, and interpreting the financial transactions. So for the purpose of accounting, we classify the accounts into natural persons, artificial person, representative person account, all are person account, debit the receiver of the benefit, credit the giver of the benefit, real account, all assets and property, nominal account, all revenue transactions. Right. Now, the most beautiful, which everybody must know, is all asset account and expense account show the debit balance. So any asset, this you have to fundamentally remember compulsorily, all liabilities and income show the credit balance. That means, so accounting entries pucha tha. Asset and expense, if it has to be increased, debit karo, it has to fully focus on revision class. We will not go very slow also, okay? Fully focus, fully register. So that whatever we do, okay, maybe in 4 to 5 hours, you should be covering in 5 to 6 days, which is definitely, and everything, your timings of sleep, timings of reading, everything has been decided. Now, when you talk about the asset account and expense account, show the debit balance. Example, don't bother, sir, building is increasing, debit karo. Machinery is increasing, debit karo. Building sold, credit karo. Expenses, salary account is increasing, debit karo. So all asset and expenses account show the debit balance. All liabilities and incomes account show the credit balance. This is the most crucial aspect which you should know. So asset increase, debit. Asset decrease, credit. Liability increase, credit. Liability decrease, credit. Same way, expense and income. First principle. The second principle is all real accounts will appear on the asset side. All personal account will appear on the, so all nominal account will appear in the P&L. All real account will appear on the asset side. Personal account mainly appear on the liability side. Some personal account will also appear on the asset side. That is the second principle. The third principle is any transaction which is intended to give a benefit for a long period is called capital transaction, which will appear in the balance sheet. the figures after figures after figures, year after year after year continuous. Whereas all revenue transactions will appear in the P&L account. So this is a very basic, right? Once again, learn somewhere it will be useful. Expense outstanding is a liability, income outstanding is an asset. Expense prepaid is an asset, income pre-received is a liability. That's the fundamental. Now, the most crucial part of the syllabus, you have seen today also, earlier also you trusted me. Group 1 accounts, first question account start, straight questions, 20 marks. Group 2, first question, straight questions. Group 2 nalli at the end, question number 6 also, 1 or 2 questions on accounting standard. In between again, hire purchase, sorry, AS 13, okay. So amalgamation, cash flow statement, all these are straight questions. So around 60 to 100 marks out of 200 marks in the syllabus. Group 1 and Group 2 Milad. What is an accounting standard? So my present batch student recently we learned. So you should be able to recall well. Now there's one more opportunity to teach. Okay, you have to learn fast, quick, absorb, and implement. Accounting standards are like a grammar to a language. Account is a language of the business across the globe. So if you're doing the business activities, we need to compile everything under one roof. That is why accounting standards. At international level, IASC, International Accounting Standard Committee, used to give IAS, International Accounting Standards. 2001, they renamed it as IASB, International Accounting Standard Board, which started issuing Sangeeta IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standards. They wanted to convert everything as early as possible, Aishwarya, but they could not. That's why, as of now, there are some standards, IFRS 1 to IFRS 17, and others which are not yet changed to IFRS, although they may not be able to do it or they don't want to do it, they continue as IAS. So we have IFRS 1 to 17 as of now, IAS 1 to 41. In between, so many numbers are missing because whichever was converted into IFRS of now, we do not have a concept called IAS again. So I repeat, for example, IFRS 3, business combination is there. So S12 IAS has been removed. So we had earlier revenue recognition ke liye, IAS 18 was there, IAS 7 was there, all the 9 were there. They're all removed now because IFRS 15 is there. So wherever there is a change already happened, Rashmi, that is called IFRS. There are some standards like inventory, they didn't want to change, probably they don't want to change. That has been continued under IAS 2. So at the international level, we have IFRS 1 to 17, consecutively numbered, IAS 1 to 41, okay, which are not yet to change. Put together, we call them as IFRS. Generally, we call them as IFRS. So when it comes to India, in accounts, so companies, non-corporates, big companies, they wanted to follow IFRS, but they said, no, there are some changes which we require. That's why they didn't follow IFRS as such. Okay, we didn't adopt as it. We translated that IFRS to suit the requirement of India. 95% almost same, plus or minus something. Addition is called carve in, deletion is called carve out. Okay, so this is called IND-AS, Indian Accounting Standard. If you are a big company, you are supposed to follow IND-AS. All the chota mota companies are calling company law standards, which are nothing but ICAS standards. So in India, we have companies, two elements, IND-AS and company law standard. All other entities other than the companies, we have a ICAS standards, which is applicable to every other enterprise. So ICAS standards and company law standards are same. That is your syllabus, what you are learning, years 1 to 29, which have been prescribed for your group 1 and group 2. Next, income tax under section 145 subsection 2 says, while following accrual method of accounting or mercantile system of accounting, you need to follow ICDS Roman number 1 to Roman number 10. ICDS Roman number 1 to Roman number 10, which are similar to ICAS standards. So compulsorily, whether it's a Tata Limited or Aditi Panipuri, everybody has to follow income tax. Right. So coming back to accounts. So income tax, I said 1 to 10. Then accounts, we have at international level, IAS issued before 2001 and continued as it is some of them, and IFRS Vikas and Pawan, which is issued after 1/4/2001. Okay, 1 to 17 are issued. Companies, for big companies, say net worth more than equal to 500 crore, listed companies, etc. Indies and other companies, they follow compel law standard. All non-corporates, they are following ICI standard 1 to 10. So I have given the notation here: A, B, C, D, E. C is equal to D is equal to E. Income tax standards are almost similar to ICI standard, which is equal to small chota mota companies compel law standards. समझ में आ रहा है? Whereas B is almost equal to 95% of IFRS. Carve in additional points of India, carve out some deletions from Indian standards. So whatever the IFRS is there, we are deleting it. So all of you quickly go through this. All of you are able to recall what we discussed recently?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Everything is available beautifully. ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ?
Yes, sir.
Accounting standards are 5 P's: principle, policies, and practices followed. Iday words use ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Account standards ಅಲ್ಲಿ use the same words. Elevate your language skills while preparing and presenting the financial statements. So they are the policy documents which are like a yardstick and guiding principles. They mainly deal with the RMPD. Wherever we go, it comes: recognition, measurement, presentation, disclosure. So go by the title ES9, revenue recognition. Revenue recognition. So revenue, how much revenue, Harshita, I have to take it to the P&L, is called revenue recognition. Then measurement. How do you measure the inventory cost as per ES2? Measurement. Presentation. On the face of the P&L, respect the aerospace, no? Right. So on the face of the P&L, Deepa, so EPS has to be presented at the end. E example connection correction ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Quick ಆಗಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸಲ ಬರೀ ಎಲ್ಲರಲ್ಲೇ ಸೈಡ್ ಬೈ ಸೈಡ್. Recently I have written my new friends ಅಥವಾ ನಾನ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಯಾರಿದ್ರೆ, okay, those people can write. Shweta, Syed Muzamil, Sweetie, main pizza. Namrata is writing in main exam. Welcome to pizza. Welcome. ठीक है. बरे. Yes. ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ 5 P's. ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಗೆ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು, ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು, ಅದು ಚಕ್ಕ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಆ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಫ್ಲೋ. 5 P's. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಯಾರ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಗೈಡ್ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್. ಇವತ್ತು ದ್ವಾದಶಿ, ನಿನ್ನೆ ಏಕಾದಶಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ ತೇಜಸ್ವಿನಿ? ನಿನ್ನೆದೆಲ್ಲ ಕವರ್ ಇವತ್ತೇ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವಳೆ ಎಲ್ಲ, ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆದ್ದು ತಿಂತಾನೆ ಅವಳೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಎಸ್ RMPD. RMPDಗೆ 1 by 1 recognition ES9. How much revenue to be recognized ಅಂತ when ಅಂತ ದರ್ಶನ್ ಜೆ ಶೆಟ್ಟಿ. measurement ES2 ಅಥವಾ ES10. measurement of the cost, inventory ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಹೆಂಗೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಅದಿತಿ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಹೆಂಗೆ, ರಿವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ ಅಥವಾ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲ್, ಮೆಜರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಲ್. ಕ್ಯಾಥರಿನ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ RMP. P ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಜ್ಞಾ ಪೈ ತಗದಿಮಿತೈ ಆನ್ ದ ಫೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ P&L. On the face of the P&L at the end. Suresh, EPS as per ES20. ಪ್ರತಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಅನ್ನ ಶೆಡ್ಯೂಲ್ 3 ಗೆ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡಿ. AS 20. Last one, disclosure. Disclosure. Say AS1, AS5, AS18, AS18. Very good. AS18. Say transactions with subsidiary. Related party disclosure. Then be doesn't matter. Group to start a group or Kurboleta. There is no ether concept. It is not that's a group to Mutangil Vanta. Put Bodian Tondrela. You can touch it. Okay. Right. This is about RMPD. Next. So objectives of the account start. Underline comparability. So that easy comparison. Uniformity in the presentation. Obviously, then other three RMPD. Other than never that. Compare loss charts are applicable. Compare loss only 129 is the section which deals with account start. 129 subsection 5, 129 subsection 1, 129 3, 129 5. 129 5 more specific about account start. That is 133. 5 marks random again question very rarely care. How does this account start come into picture? What C Institute does is C Institute has an account start board, ICI. So they will constitute a study group. They collect the views and opinions. Adana exposure draft anta public ge kalishtare. Public will give their comment. Modification madbiಟ್ಟು finally issue of stand. So stand setting procedure anta kelidre ee ತರ. So ICA study group start views alla collect ಮಾಡಿ ಅದರ exposure draft ಮಾಡಿ public ge opinion ಕೊಟ್ಟು public ಇದು opinion ತಗೊಂಡು then they start. So India's basically for the globalization. So that you can always list over the stock exchange for the story. Carve in andre additional points. Classic example, pooling of interest method, okay, is allowed under India's, even though IFRS is not permitted. Nama amalgamation idiyalla AS14 alli. Adu pooling of interest method is prohibited in IFRS, but India's is. Carve out of either mandatory deviation like fixed asset, PPE are not considered, or optional. They are given 3 options in one of the standards, but India says I will not give you third option. I'll give only 2 options. IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standards, which are supposed to be implemented from 2011 antitto, 2001 alli committee agitto, 2011 alli, but agilla. That's why they are deferred. All story ಇದೆ. ಓದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. First standard, disclosure of accounting policies. It is like an introduction. Everybody must know number with name ಬರಬೇಕು. Number with name ಬರಬೇಕು. As per ES1, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕವರ್ ಬಂದಾಗ disclosure of accounting standard ಅಲ್ಲ accounting policies. So what are the accounting policies? Subsequent standard ಇದ್ದು content ಬರಲಿ. ES2, inventory is valued at cost or NRV, whichever is less, is an accounting policy. Categorization of the cash flows under operating, investing, and financing is an accounting policy. Post-balance sheet events are classified into adjusting and non-adjusting. How do you account is an accounting policy. Prior period item, what the treatment you are given is an accounting policy. Construction contract is recognized as per POCM, percentage of completion method. Okay, and then you remind me one more thing from the regular material, definitions, inclusion and exclusion. Okay. So you just remind me, but the auditing crash course, but the income tax. End of today's session. Okay. Next point. So disclosure of accounting policies. So significant accounting policy. I conveniently alter for my understanding. I say disclosure of significant accounting policies. Every policy, pin purchase policy, you cannot record. Whatever is the important material. First part, you have to disclose. Second part. Fundamental accounting assumptions. Throughout the accounting standard, there are 3 fundamental accounting assumptions.
Going concern,
Accrual,
consistent.
Make some noise. So going concern, we estimate that the business is going to be there forever. It is a presumption. Accrual, record the transaction as and when they take place. Am I audible correctly?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Consistency, but you are not visible somewhere. So consistency, same principle you follow again and again and again. They are called consistency. So fundamental accounting assumption. Shetty sir has told 135 is the class. You know why 135? Rav Kala. Suddenly realized it's wrong call at 12 to 1:30 today, Wednesday. I didn't want to start a revision class at 1 o'clock. That's why I changed it to 1:35. Okay, early. So good things to be started with a good time. So now I told at 1:35. Fundamental accounting assumption, I told 1:35. What is the presumption? Schedule will start the class, you have to come to the class. Okay. Some emergency, like see, today morning we are supposed to start at 8 o'clock, but I think SMSR class slightly got delayed. I just started delayed it by 10 minutes. Okay, it may happen, but it will not that 10 minutes will get delayed by 10 hours. And life alwa and almost on time but exam session late may take little extra time. So fundamental accounting assumptions are presumed to be followed. If they are followed, no disclosure required. If not followed, disclose the same. First point. Sir, you told SLM or WDV. How do I know? How do I select an accounting policy? There are three principles.
Prudence,
Prudence, substance,
Materiality.
performance, material.
Petushikamani. Enumaga Mudushikamani alla. Petushikamani is what? Prudence.
substance over form and material.
For every item here, you can give an example of next time. Prudence, ES2. Cost or in NRE, whichever is less. Yesterday's class we discussed para 17 read with para 15 of ES22. When there is a virtual certainty of future taxable income, create DTA. Reasonable certainty, create it. Otherwise, don't create a DTA. Bhumika Jain. So, creation of DTA, etc. depends on the prudence. Prudence. Atava, next substance or form. ES19. I become the owner of hire purchase only after paying the last installment. But still, since I am a hire purchaser, I can only claim a depreciation from the time I take a possession. Even though I am not the real owner from the day one, but I can claim the depreciation. Materiality, important in the context. The items, the knowledge of which influence the decisions of the users of the financial statement by heart materiality. So, based on these three principles, you have to select. Sir, SLM is suiting me, WD, you decide, whichever suit. FIFO now, weighted average, you decide. So, selecting accounting policy. So, whenever there is a deviation, I followed FIFO. Now, suddenly I change from FIFO to weighted average. Example, account standard framework, FIFO to LIFO illa. LIFO is not suggested normally. And the account is suggestive law. So, now LIFO martini. If there is a strong reason for you to follow, you follow. But tell me why you follow. So many FIFO calculation problem. I cannot. So you can follow. You can give explanation possible. Artha, fine. So next. So accounting policies are the specific accounting principles and methods of applying these principles adopted by an enterprise for preparing and presenting. So give examples of the main content or subsequent standard, like accounting policy, ES2 ES10 whatever. Fundamental accounting assumption, factors, disclosure, all material policies. If option is given in account standard, if there are two or more options given, compulsorily
Disclose.
Close.
Disclose.
The policy used.
Option one, when GAC is not followed, disclose. Okay, then the story is there. Yeah, very important notes. Copy paste from your material. Okay, yes, disclosure. Ramya.
Yes, sir. Disclosure of accounting policies. All significant accounting policies adopted in the preparation and presentation of financial statements should be disclosed as a part of financial statements in one place. Disclosure of accounting policies or of changes therein cannot remedy a wrong or inappropriate treatment of the item in the accounts. Example, inventory is valued at market value being higher than the cost and same is properly disclosed. Comment. Answer. A disclosure of wrong treatment given will not make it right. Such treatment is against prudence principle.
So, you value the invented market value. Then he says, I disclose. He is wrong. Wrong treatment will never make a disclosure right. Arthak area, very important. Next.
AS1, general note. For almost all the standards, common disclosures are accounting
Any
policy.
question, any standard they ask, disclosure is a must. At the end of each standard, normally the skeleton of the standard is first introduction is there, objective is there, scope, following are excluded from the standard is the exclusion, then definitions is there, main content is the disclosure. And work on somewhere. Normally, the structure of ES. Yes. So the paras, objective, scope, definitions, mean content, then disclosure. Yeah, disclosure. Yeah. So disclosure ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಪ್ರತಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ಲೋಸರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು
For almost all standards, common disclosures are accounting policy used. Say in AS2, inventory of finished goods is valued at NRV being lesser than the cost.
So every standard ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ what is the accounting policy follow ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ಲೋಸರ್ ಮಾಡಿ next.
When there are two or more options given, disclose the option selected. Example, SLM followed under AS10.
AS10 ಅಲ್ಲಿ what are the options available to you?
SLM WDV.
SLM WDV and units of production. Units of production method is also there. Next, based on production. Let's say total cost is 10 lakh. First year you are planning to manufacture 6 lakh. Next year 3 lakh. Next year 1 lakh. That means the depreciation should be 60% to 30% to 10%. Next.
Main crux of such standards say consideration under AS14.
So, ಎಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಇದರ ಜನರಲ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ನೋಡಬೇಕು. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಸೊ AS16 ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ಲೋಸರ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ AS16 ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡು ಒಂದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಬರೀ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ ಫಾರ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಬರೀ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ at least you write you may get half mark. Are you getting my point? So AS16 disclosure follow. So accounting policy follow. So a specific borrowing rate has been applied for so and so. So for general borrowing we have used the weighted average cost of capital. ಅದು ಬರೆಯಕ್ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಅಂತ ಬರೀಬೋದಾ ಅದು ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಓಕೆ
Any deviation from accounting standard or policies. To our remarks, reasons.
So what are the reasons for accounting policy? It can be SSM. And whenever there is a deviation, you should disclose 3+1.
Reasons SSM. Change in statutes, change in standard for management, better representation.
Better presentation. So, 3 reasons why you may change the accounting policy or account standard. Statute change, you don't have option. Standard change, you don't have. Management feels no, this is better if you follow this. Idake subsequent account standard examples that will be better. For example, AS2 earlier FIFO, LIFO, simple weighted somewhere around 15 years back, they said no, now it only FIFO and weighted away by considering inflation economy in Indian economy, inflation economy. That's it. So I was following LIFO either too. Suddenly change it. I don't have an option. I had to change it to FIFO or weighted away. Someone may have next.
Disclosure 3+1. Nature of deviation, reasons for deviation, financial impact, or reasons for non-disclosure of financial impact.
So I told you FIFO to weighted average reason number 1. Reason is because of the reduction in the price, even though the inflation existed. Regular class recent that. Financial impact. So FIFO the closing stock 100 because of the LIFO it is 80 lakh. 80 lakh, 20 lakh. Financial impact could not be ascertained. And very, very important.
Connect all disclosures to Schedule 3, Part 1 and Part 2. Can show extract.
Extract ಅನ್ನೋದು ತೋರಿಸಬಹುದು ಪ್ರತಿ ಒಂದನ್ನ extract ಅನ್ನು ತೋರಿಸಬೇಕು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ so every financial transaction which has a connection with the financial statements connect it. So Schedule 3 Part 1 and Part 2. So now quickly let us go to Schedule 3 Part 1 and Part 2 because every now and then I'll be connecting it. Then we'll come back to the standards. Shall we?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
How page is the format? Unless it
25.
I got it. ಬೇರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ ನೆನಪಡಿ. ಅದು ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ MCA ನಲ್ಲಿ there are some more changes have come. Okay, so remind me maybe next session ಅಲ್ಲಿ I'll check up. CA Institute has not given notification yet whether these changes are applicable to you. Nan prakara normally CA Institute standing instruction is any changes 6 months prior to your exam is not applicable to you. So any changes ಈಗ ನವೆಂಬರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ 6 months last 6 months ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದು is not applicable. So last ಒಂದು 3 days back ಏನೋ MCA ನೋಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಬಂದಿತ್ತು. ಸೊ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಇದೆ. May 23 ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಬಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. November 22 ಗೆ 90% ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಬಲ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರಿಮೈಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಮ್ಮ. ದ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ CA Institute ನೋಟಿಫೈ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಓಕೆ? Section 2 within bracket 40 deals with the financial statements. I am in accounts class now. I am referring to Companies Act. Financial statements of a company consist of balance sheet, P&L account. In section 240, account herutte, statement herodilla. Then cash flow statement, SOC, statement of changes in equity, not applicable to you. Explanatory notes. So these 5 part statements are given in format schedule number 3. All schedules in any act are given in Roman number 3. Roman number 3 has got 2 parts. Part 1 balance sheet, part 2 statement of P&L. Part 1 balance sheet. So earlier traditionally husband on the right hand side, Deepa, wife on the left side. Now therefore inchinik wife will be on the top, husband yellow down. Okay, so Rahul Jain katavai. So wife on the top. Now he says Chandan elli naan elli anta keltane illi. So equity and liabilities on the top, assets down. And ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು I am not into any religion, but for understanding the purpose I gave one simple Ramayana connection. Okay, ನೀವು ರಾಮಾಯಣ ಅದು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಿ, ಕ್ರಿಸ್ಮಸ್ ಅದು ಜೀಸಸ್ ಕ್ರೈಸ್ಟ್ ಅದು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಿ. But understand the format is easy. First half of the Ramayana, a lot of tension. Rama has been sent to Vanvas. Then the Sita becomes the first woman to fly abroad. I hope you know that. Okay, right. So then there's a big fight going on with Rama and Ravan. Then Rajnikant comes and saves them. Something happens. Okay, you know that. I love the small stupid pages irutte. See, they used to follow Yuddha Dharma. So that is during the fight. So morning 8 o'clock in the evening 6 o'clock fight model. 6 o'clock all are normal. So one day after fight, it was raining. So Ravana came and asked Hanumanta, BD, do you have a BD? BD. So Hanumanta said, I don't have it. He sent back. When Rama turns, Hanumanta says, you have BD. No, why did you say no to him? Yes, sorry, BD kodbekanta. 10 BDs yavan kodtavane. Avaniಗೆ ಒಂದು ಬೇಡ ತಲೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಶ್ರೀದೇವಿ ಹೇಳಮ್ಮ, ಅನ್ಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಮ್ಮ. ಶ್ರೀದೇವಿ, what is that Rama can do alone, but Ravana cannot? ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು. That's why I asked thoroughly. ಅವ್ರ ಪಾಪ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ. ಅವ್ರು ಆಗ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ what is that Rama can do alone, but Ravana cannot? Wearing a T-shirt. Ravana has 10 head ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಅವನು ಹಿಂಗೆ ಹಾಕೋದು, ಲಂಗ ತರ ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಳೋದ? ಎಂತ ನೀವು? ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಮೋರ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಟ್ ರಾವಣ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೂ ಎಲೋನ್ ಬಟ್ ರಾಮ ಕ್ಯಾನಾಟ್? ಉಲ್ಟಾ, ರಾವಣ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೂ ಎಲೋನ್ ಬಟ್ ರಾಮ ಕ್ಯಾನಾಟ್. ನೋಡಿ, ಇದನ್ನು ಅವರು ಈ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಏನು ಹೇಳಿ? ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಎಲೋನ್ 10 ತಲೆ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಓಕೆನಾ? ಹೀಗೆ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್. So the first half is equity and liabilities. Next half is asset. How to remember? Adakkondu beautiful format. In and out gottirli. Now at least if you don't realize the importance of schedule 3, God bless you. So without schedule 3 you cannot discuss 90% of your syllabus adare roma agutte. Okay, last 3-4 chapter maatra company accounts alla nodidrallu. Iga ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ 7 ಕಂಪನಿ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು. ಓಕೆ, ಹೈರ್ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಾನ್ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ಸ್, ಬರೆಲ್ಲ ಕಂಪನಿ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಸ್. ಭಾರತಿ ಜನಮ್ಮ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಲಾಕ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಏನೊಂದು ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಅಂತ ಯಾವ್ದೊಂದು ಸ್ಟೋರಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು. ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ 240 129 subsection 1 says true and fair view. part 1 and part 2. Underline ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Then 129.1. 129.3 is what? Anybody?
Consolidated financial statement.
Excellent. Very good, Shreyas. 129 subsection 3 ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಬರೀ CFS. Consolidated financial statement. 129.5 read with 133.
Deviation.
ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Is what? Accounting standards. Right. So Schedule 3 is mandatory for all the companies. The new format. ಮೊದಲು ಇತ್ತು. Now Schedule 3 has got two parts. Part 1 is balance sheet. ಇಲ್ಲಿ statement of P&L ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. P&L account ಹೇಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ? Statement
of P&L.
So part 1, top ಅಲ್ಲಿ equity and liabilities. How to remember? Sri Rama and Sita necessary for capital. Those who are material in hand, keep writing side by side. ಯಾವುದು standard number is not now. Wait. Sri Rama and Sita necessary for capital. So Rama used monkeys. Long and deferred operations with the help of Lakshman. Shortly triumph over Sri Lanka. Ište. This is liability side of the balance sheet. So liability side of the balance sheet ಏನಿದೆ? Sri Rama and Sita ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ necessary for capital. So Rama used monkeys. So long and deferred operation with the help of Lakshman. Shortly triumph over Sri Lanka. This is short form to remember. Otherwise, if you want to tell it in the accounting language, shareholders funds, share application money, pending allotment. This is a special item. Other bitre, every other item is non-current liability, current liability. Long-term borrowing, short-term borrowings. Other long-term liability, other current liability. Long-term provisions, short-term provisions. Different ink alli make a circle. Yav ink alli mattu idiyadalla hakoli. Deferred tax liability is always non-current. Trade payable is always current. ಬೇರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ ಶ್ರೀದೇವಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಟರ್ಮ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಪ್ರೊವಿಷನ್, ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಪ್ರೊವಿಷನ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅದರ್ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟೀಸ್, ಅದರ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟಿ. ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಸೇಮ್. ಓನ್ಲಿ ಟೂ ಐಟಮ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್. ಯಾವುದು? ಟೂ ಐಟಮ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್. ಡೆಫರ್ಡ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ನಾನ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್. ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ಪೇಬಲ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್. ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ಲೋಜರ್ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ಪೇಬಲ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ you split into how much is outstanding for micro and small. There is an act called MSMED 2006, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Act 2006. But ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಿಡಿ ನಮಗೆ ಬೇಡ, ನಮಗೆ ಖಾಲಿ ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಮತ್ತು ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಸಾಕು. ಮಿಡಿ ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಳಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಮಿಡಿ ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಳಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಅಂಡ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್, ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಇಸ್ ಔಟ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಕಂಪನಿ. ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಅಂಡ್ ಚಿನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು, ಓಕೆ, ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಅಂಡ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್. ಆರ್ಚ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್, ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ಕೇರ್ ಆಫ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಮಾನ್ಯ, ನಾಟ್ ಅನೀಶ್. ಮಿಡಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಾರೆ, ಮಾನ್ಯ ಮಾತ್ರ. ಓಕೆ, ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಅಂಡ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್. ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಅಂಡ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್. ಸೊ ಮೀಡಿಯಂ ಎಂಟರ್ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಬರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಆರ್ ಯು ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿಸ್?
Yes.
Show the same. Other outstanding, it has to be shown. So balance sheet trade payables, assuming 100 lakh ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಆಗಿ ನೀವು 100 lakh. You imagine some figure. So micro and small say 20 lakh, others 80 lakh. ಇಲ್ಲಿ be careful. Small enterprises ಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ outstanding ಇರಬಾರ್ದು. That is a bad position. So what I am trying to say is, you are outstanding to small company, poor fellow, pay the money right now. LBI, why are you keeping his money? As less as possible. Single S put together double S. ಅವ್ನು ನವನೀತ್ ಎಲ್ಲೋದ್ನೋ? ಸೆಟ್ಲ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲಾದ್ರು ಸೌತ್ ಆಫ್ರಿಕಾದಲ್ಲಿ?
ಅವ್ನು ಹುಷಾರಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್.
ಓ, ನೀನೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ?
ನಾನೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್.
ಈಗಷ್ಟು ಹೇಳಿದಲ್ಲ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಟೇಕ್ ಕೇರ್ ಮಾಡಂತ.
2 ದಿನ ಬರ್ತಲ್ಲ ಸರ್.
ಗೊತ್ತು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದು. 2 ದಿನ ಒಂದು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಆನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದ. ಇದೆ ಒಂದು ದಿನ ಹೆಲ್ತ್, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಗೆ ಇವತ್ತು ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಬಂತು, ಹೆವಿ ರೈನ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 1 week ಅಂತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ವೀಕ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಎಲ್ಲ ರೈನ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಪಡ್ಕೋತೀವಿ. ಮಳೆ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಮಳೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಪಡ್ಕೋತೀವಿ. ಬರ್ಲಿ ಬಿಡ್ರಿ, ಮಳೆಗಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಳೆ ಬರ್ಲಿ, ನಿಮ್ಗೇನ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್? ಒಣಗ್ಸಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ವಾ? ಹಪ್ಪಳ ಒಣಗಿಸಿ, ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಮನೆಯೊಳಗೆ. ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ. ಸೊ ಮೂವಿಂಗ್ ದೀಪ ಎದ್ದೇಳಮ್ಮ. ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೇಳೋ ಮೊದಲು ಕನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಡಿದೀವಿ. ರೈಟ್, ನಾವು ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿದೀವಿ. ರಮ್ಯಾ ಹೇಗಿದೆ ಬಾರೇಲಿ. Right. So when you talk about the financial statements, so share capital, reserve surplus, money is taken forward. In and out ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. Then share application money pending allotment, ಅದು ಪೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ನಾನ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್, ಕರೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಈಗಲೇ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಯಾವುದು? ಲಾಂಗ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಬಾರೋಯಿಂಗ್ಸ್, deferred, so long and deferred tax liability, long and deferred operation, other non-current liabilities, and long-term provisions. Almost same items in the current, except trade payable. Trade payable is always current, deferred tax liability is always
non-current.
ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಹೈಲೈಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ರೋಬೋ ರಜನಿಕಾಂತ್ ತರ ಹೇಳೋದು ಬೇಡ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಸೈಡ್ ಬೈ ಸೈಡ್. Done. Now, so I fighting ಆಯ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ರು. But when they came back to India, there is a big celebration at Ayodhya. So big celebration, Rama Pattabhishekam. I told you this. Rama lived, as I understand, for 4,000 years. It's correct. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಜನರೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಫಾದರ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಲಿವ್ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ 100 years. ನಮ್ಮ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ 70-80 ಗೆ ಆಯ್ತು, ನಮ್ದು ಇನ್ನು 50-60 ಗೆ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಯೋಗ ಕೆಲವರು ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಕೆಲವು ಯೋಗ ಸರ್ 60 years ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ. 50ನೇ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಅಷ್ಟು ನಮ್ಮ ಜನರೇಷನ್ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈಫ್ ದೀಪ ಅಯ್ಯೋ ದೇವರೇ ಅಂತ ಇದು ಈ ಲೈಫ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಕಮ್ ಡೌನ್ ಬೈ 50 years. ಸೊ ಆತರ ತ್ರೇತಾ ಯುಗದಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಮ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಲ್ವಾ, ಸೊ ಹಂಗೆ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗಿ. ಸೊ just 14 years, ಹಿಂಗೆ ಫ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಹೋಗಿರ್ಬೋದು 14 years ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ 3,900+ years he lived happy. ರಾಮ ರಾಜ್ಯ is supposed to be the great, okay, here ಇಲ್ಲಿ. So he came back, big Pattabhishekam, big celebration happened. But when LBM, hey, you have to what do you call, doubted ... ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ the lady, the Sita has to go inside the Agni Pariksha ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಫಾರ್ಮೆಟ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಏನು, ಪಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ನಿಯರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡಿಯರ್ ಒನ್ಸ್, ಲವ್ಡ್ ಒನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್. ಈಗ ಮೊದಲು ಪಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಯಾವುದು, ಸೋಪಾ ಉಜ್ಜಕ್ಕೆ ಪಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಿತ್ತು, ಅದು ಫಿಕ್ಸಸ್ ಪಿ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಏನು, ಪಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಅಮ್ರೀನ್ ಹಾಯ್, ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ಪಿಯರ್ಸ್ ನಿಯರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡಿಯರ್ ಒನ್ಸ್, loved one and all, okay. Then citizen insisted taste came out Sita with the originality anta. So peers, near, dear, loved one and all, short form. Citizen insisted test came out Sita with the originality. So what is this mean again? Under this again, Tikipuri, you know, Sridevi, Tikipuri. So PP, yes10, and tangible, intangible assets. PP is tangible, intangible. Tangible, intangible. Capital work in progress. Work in progress under construction. You know, under construction. Building under construction, machinery under construction, road under construction is called capital work in progress. I am a manufacturer of T-shirt. Half finished T-shirt is called work in progress, inventory. Building is under construction, that is called capital expenditure work in progress. It is also called capital work in progress. Are you understanding what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Everybody? Okay.
Yes.
So tangible assets, intangible asset, capital work in progress, then intangible asset under development. So next, you have deferred tax asset, long-term investments. So non-current investments, deferred tax asset. So all of you again, highlight money. PP, all these are always non-current. Then deferred tax asset is always non-current. Every other item can be current and non-current. Whereas under ITC, current assets only, ITC, inventory, trade receivable, cash and cash equivalent, they are always current. Always current. Everything else can be what called current. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ದೇವರಿಗೆ ನಾನ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಐಟಮ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಲೋನ್ಸ್ and advances, ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಲೋನ್ಸ್, ಅದರ್ ನಾನ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಟ್, ಅದರ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಸೈಡ್ ಬೈ ಸೈಡ್ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ is split into left side shareholders funds, ಅದರ ಕೆಳಗೆ including share application money, funding allotment. Right side current and non-current. Under that, Ramas, asset and liabilities. Sorry, liabilities and assets. ಅಷ್ಟೇ ತಾನೇ ಇರೋದು. Share holders fund, share application. Non-current liability, current liability. Non-current asset, current asset. Below that, one more point. Financial statements are given in which order?
That should be in the
Permanency order. Permanency order. Within the bracket, different ink. Banking company in
Liquidity.
liquidity order. Next. Make the cycle. A small circle, cash. Raw material. Work in progress. Finished goods. Debtors and BR. So it start with the end. Flow chart. Start with the cash. Raw material RM. ಬರೀಬೇಕು ರಾಹುಲ್ ಜೈನ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಬಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ. ಡಬ್ಲ್ಯೂ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್, ರಾ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್, ವರ್ಕ್ ಇನ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರೆಸ್, ಫಿನಿಶ್ ಗುಡ್ಸ್, ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ರಿಸೀವಬಲ್, ಕ್ಯಾಶ್. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು?
ಆಪರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಸೈಕಲ್.
ಆಪರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಸೈಕಲ್. ಮೇಕ್ ಎ ಸರ್ಕಲ್. ಈ ರಾ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಇದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸರ್ಕಲ್. ಔಟ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸರ್ಕಲ್. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ? ಕರೆಂಟ್ liabilities. So these are all called current assets inside this circle. Minus current liability is equal to
Working capital.
Working capital.
these are the current items. ಇದನ್ನೇ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಆಯ್ತು. Next line. Current means explain ITC. ನೆನಪಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ITC. ITC. I ಕೆಳಗೆ ಬರೀ I ಕೆಳಗೆ 3 arrow marks. Finished goods for stock in trade. You have to go in this order. Next, work in progress. Next, cash and cash equivalent. ಅದನ್ನ explain ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆಗೋಯ್ತು current definition. 5 mark question. Current means what? ITC. Inventory, trade receivable, cash and cash equivalent. Inventory again, inventory meant for sale or finished goods, stock in trade. Work in progress ಅಥವಾ raw material. ಬರಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಲೀನ್ ಆಗಿ. Next line. Yeah. Assets bar liabilities. Assets bar liabilities. PD. Being part of operating cycle. Rahul, Yam, Shweta, Raj, Prema, Pizza, Jek, Syed Muzamil. Being part of operating cycle are current. ऊपर क्या है उसका एक्सप्लेनेशन करना है. अदर नीड कौन सा राइट are called current. Normally less than or equal to 12 months. Correct? Everything else is non-current. So non-current is equal to other than current. This is the balance sheet format. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತು ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ? ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಬರಲ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡ್ರಿ. DTL, trade payable, PPA and intangible, DTA, ITC. Those are Anthony. DTL, trade payable, PPA and intangible, then DTA, Aditya, and ITC, make a circle under exclusive items. ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ಏನಂತ? DTL is always non-current. Trade payables is always current. Everything else can be current and non-current. Semicolon. All other items, next. One box. All other items can be current or non-current. Everybody understood, Baba?
Yeah.
Next. So now P&L, statement of P&L. The traditional P&L, what you would have written, all the revenues on the debit side, expense debited. So we used to follow PBDIT, profit before depreciation, interest and tax for FM purpose, Sangeeta. Music. So profit before depreciation, interest and tax. ಇದನ್ನ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಟೀಚರ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನ ಸ್ಲೈಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಏನ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ? ಸೊ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಎ, ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರೋಟೆ. ದೋಸ್ ಹೂ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಎವ್ರಿಬಡಿ ರೈಟ್. ಲೋಟೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಕ್ಕೆ ಚೊಂಬು ಜೊತೆಗೆ. ಸೊ ROT, ರೋಟೆ. ರೆವಿನ್ಯೂ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್. ಸಂಗೀತ ಏನು ಲೋಟೆ ಬರ್ದೆ, ರೋಟೆ ಬರ್ದ್ಯಾ? ರೆವಿನ್ಯೂ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್, ಅದರ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್, total income, then expenses. Expense only very important. First three are inventory related. Raw material consumed, purchase of stock in trade. Illi raw material consumed pakka barri, opening stock of RM plus purchase minus closing stock. Divya, opening stock of raw material plus purchase minus closing stock. Next, purchase of stock in trade. Third item, changes in inventory within the bracket RP. Opening minus closing. Within the bracket, opening minus closing of, close the bracket, dash. Kanda of WIP, finished goods and SIT. Finished goods are what you manufacture. Stock in trade is what you buy and sell. Stock in trade. Complete good finish good difference, sir. Chandan, Pawan gets right Muniyamma for his life. Life is complete. Pawan gets the wrong Muniyamma. Life is finished. If Muniyamma and Pawan both are wrongly connected, life is completely finished. Deepa ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ನಾನು ಯಾವ ಕೆಟಗರಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ. ಶ್ರೀದೇವಿ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಅವ್ರು ಮೂಡ್ ಬಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ, ಇಲ್ಲಂದ್ರೆ ಪಡುಬಿದ್ರೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಓಪನಿಂಗ್ ಮೈನಸ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸಿಂಗ್ ಯಾವ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಬರಬೇಕು? ಫಿನಿಶ್ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್, ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಇನ್ ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಇನ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರೆಸ್, ಅದು ಸೆಪರೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರಬೇಕು ಫಸ್ಟ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಸೊ ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ ದ ಟ್ರೇಡ್ಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಿ ನೀವು ಪರ್ಚೇಸಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ವೇಜಸ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಐಟಮ್ ಇಸ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಫೈನಾನ್ಸ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ CPC ಅಂತ ಬರೀ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ 3 ಐಟಮ್ CPC. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ EFDO, ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ BF ದೂರದಿಂದ ಓಡೋದಂತ. BF ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಾಯ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್, ದೂರದಿಂದ ಓಡೋದ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು. ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯ್ ಅಂತ, ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಸ್, ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್, ಫಿನಾನ್ಸ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡಿಂಗ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್, ಡಿಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಅಮಾರ್ಟೈಸೇಷನ್. ಸೊ ರೋಟೆ, ರೆವಿನ್ಯೂ, ಅದರ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್, ಟೋಟಲ್. ಅದರಿಂದ ಇದನ್ನ ಮೈನಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಇದೇ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಬರೀಬೇಕು. ಸಿಟಿಸನ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಮೆಡಿಕ್ಯುಲಸ್, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಆ ಕಡೆ ಮಾಡೋದು ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಬಟ್ ನಾನು ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಹಂಗೆ ಮಾಡಿ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಈಸಿ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ 3 ಆರ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಲೇಬರ್, ಮತ್ತೆ ಫಿನಾನ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡಿಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್, ಅದರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್. When you remove this, what you get is called PBET. Keep on removing one by one. Remove exceptional item, PBET. Remove extraordinary item, PBT. Remove tax. Tax ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಟಚ್ ಮಾಡಿದಲ್ಲ ಮೊನ್ನೆ, ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಆರ್ ಮೈನಸ್, ಅದು ಡೆಫರ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿದೆ ನೋಡಿ. ಡೆಫರ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳಿದ್ಯಾ? ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು ಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ರಾಹುಲ್ ಜೈನ್, ಏನು ಸಾಕ್ ಆಗಿದ್ಯಾ? ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಆರ್ ಮೈನಸ್ ಡೆಫರ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್. ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ ನಿಮ್ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಆದ್ರೂ ಇದ್ರೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ. ಮೈನಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ ಕ್ರೇಡ್ ಮೈನಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಲ್ವಾ? ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ ಕ್ರೇಡ್ ಏನೋ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಇಫ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎನಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್, ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್, ಅದನ್ನು ಬರೀರಿ. ಸೊ ದೆನ್ profit on sale, any tax impact on the same body, then finally EPS. So total operation, total profit divided by number, basic EPS, diluted EPS. So other explanation will be there. So new life in capital, peers, near and dear ones. This is the asset side. P and account is now very crucial. Your in class into their connection. ಪ್ರತಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೀವು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡಬಹುದು. ಪ್ರತಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಟಾಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ರಿ, ಟಾಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ES1 ಇಡೀ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಗೆ ES1 ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Do you agree? Everything what you disclose, yeah, PPE disclosure, share capital disclosure, general disclosure, everything is a disclosure, right? Next, ಈಗ ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಐಟಮ್ ವೈಸ್ ಹೋಗೋಣ. ಸೊ ಪ್ರತಿ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಏನು ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಇನ್ವೆಂಟ್ರಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, PPE ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಏನ್ ಬರಬೇಕು, PPE ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಥಿಯರಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ದ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಶೆಡ್ಯೂಲ್ 3 part 1. So non-current asset underline PPE should be presented as under. Its items have to be disclosed in the notes to accounts. Dow Books Limited. Do you recall your Dow? In Ramya, ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಈ ಮನುಷ್ಯರಿಗೆ, ಅದು ಬೇರೆ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ ಬಾರೋಯಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲಿ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ರೆಲೆವೆಂಟ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಕಾಲಮ್ ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಬೈ ಸೈಡ್. ಬಾರೋಯಿಂಗ್ಗೆ ES16 ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀತೀನಿ. ಇದು ನೋಟ್ ನಂಬರ್, ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ನೋಟ್ ನಂಬರ್ ನೀವು ಬೇರೆ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಬೇಕಾದ ಜಾಗ ಇದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತುರುಗಿಸಿ, ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಹೇಳಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಇದು ES16. ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ES16 ಟಾಕ್ಸ್ ಔಟ್ ಬಾರೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡೆಫರ್ಡ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟಿ. ಕ್ವಿಕ್ 22. ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್. ಪ್ರೊವಿಷನ್ಸ್
29.
The introduction class of the regular class also ಬರೆಸಿದ್ದೆ. ಆಗ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಬೈ ಹಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಇರೋದು. ನಾವು ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ನೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್. There should be better way of writing now. You should be able to understand. Initially, you just ಜನಗಣಮನ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ, ಅದೇ ಜನಗಣ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಫುಲ್ ಯಾವನಿಗೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ, ಲಡ್ಡು ಬರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾಯ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಹಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಈಗ ಗೊತ್ತು ಜನಗಣಮನಕ ಮತ್ಲಬ್ ಕ್ಯಾ ಹೈ ಅಂತ ಬರೀಬೇಕು. ಹೇಳಿ ಅಕ್ಷತ ಜೀವಿ ಎಳೆ. ಸೊ ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ಪೇಬಲ್, ಅದರ್ ಪ್ರೊವಿಷನ್ಸ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಏನ್ ಐಟಮ್ ಇದೆ? Again, short term provisions 29. Next, PPE. Tangible is ES10. Intangible
26.
Work in progress.
10.
ಬರಬೇಕು. Intangible development
26.
ತೇಜಸ್ವಿನಿ. Next, non-current investments
13.
deferred tax asset
22.
Next, current investments
13.
inventory
2.
cash and cash equivalent
3.
ES3.
revenue from operation
9.
other income 9/7 ಅದು ಬರ್ಬೋದಲ್ಲ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಷನ್ ರೆವಿನ್ಯೂ. ಇಲ್ಲೂ 9/7 ಎರಡಕ್ಕೂ ಬರ್ರಿ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಷನ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ ರೆವಿನ್ಯೂ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ 7 ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ರೆವಿನ್ಯೂ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ಸೊ 9/7. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೂರಕ್ಕೂ ES2 ಹಾಕಿ. ಮೂರಕ್ಕೂ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್ 15 ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಫೈನಾನ್ಸ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್
16.
ಡಿಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಅಮೌಂಟೈಸೇಷನ್
10/26.
Next, extraordinary items 5. Entire tax expense
22.
discontinuing operation
24.
EPS.
20.
Oh, my dear friends, you can understand how important they got now. At least ಆಗ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ SR ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರಿ. ಈಗ at least you can say how important the account standards are. And again, segment reporting, for example, ಅದು ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಇದನ್ನೇ ಕಾಲಮ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ segment reporting ES17. related party disclosure, what is the transaction you have done, ಅದನ್ನ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ related party disclosure, everything ಇದೇ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಮರ್ಜಿ ಮಾಡಿ ES21 ಕನ್ಸೋಲ್ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಅದ್ರ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೈಡ್ ಬೈ ಸೈಡ್ ಬರೀ ES1 ಆಯ್ತು, 2 ಆಯ್ತು, 3 ಬರೀ ES3 ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ES3 representing balance sheet and P&L, representing balance sheet and P&L under operating investing cash flow, operating investing financing. Next, 4. ES4, Yeah. ES4, but ES4. Impact financials if it is adjusting item. Existing balance sheet alli P&L account provision ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಲ್ವಾ. Next, ES5.
Net profit or loss.
Net
Show
profit.
P&L. Show P&L.
Prior period.
Show P&L. Ordinary, extraordinary. Connection ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? This is how you have to elevate. So 80 and 100 ಬರೋದಿದು. Ordinary, extraordinary. Ordinary, extraordinary. Then prior period to be adjusted to opening balance of reserves and surplus. Next, change in accounting policy 3+1. Are you recalling? ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಲ್ಲ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ A6 ಬೇಡ ಬಿಡಿ, ಒಮಿಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. 7 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಆಯ್ತು. 8 ಒಮಿಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. 9 ಆಯ್ತು. 10 ಆಯ್ತು. 11 ಬರೀ ES11 impact of exchange fluctuation, other income ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀಬಹುದು ES11. Next, ES12 government grant, revenue to P&L, capital to balance sheet. Revenue grant P&L ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. Are you enjoying, Baba?
Yes, sir.
Revenue grant ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್, ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ಭಜನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Revenue to P&L, capital to balance sheet. Next, ES13 already ಆಯ್ತು. 14, yeah, ES14 ಬರೀ. Amalgamated balance sheet as per schedule 3 only. Next, 15 ಆಯ್ತು, 16 ಆಯ್ತು, 17 columnar P&L and balance sheet. ಇದೇ ತರನೇ ಸೆಗ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಕಾಲಮ್ನರ್ ಹಾಕೋದು. ಸೊ ಯಾರ್ನ್ ಬೇರೆ, ಫ್ಯಾಬ್ರಿಕ್ ಬೇರೆ, ಗಾರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬೇರೆ, ಸೆಗ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ತರ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 18 ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ಲೋಜರ್. Disclosure in the notes account, say holding subsidiary, associate, etc. Next, 19 lease, so assets on lease under PPE, asset on lease under PPE, etc. 20 ಆಯ್ತು, 21 when there is a parent subsidiary, CFS, same format of schedule 3, Roman number 3. Within the bracket plus minority interest. ಅಲ್ಲಿ minority interest ಒಂದು extra ಬರಬೇಕು balance sheet. Yes, 22 ಆಯ್ತು, 23 right. Associate accounting by using equity method. ಅದಿನ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. equity method in the bracket. Equity method ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ. ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಆ ತರ. Within the bracket, partners capital, close the bracket, in CFS. Next, 24 ಆಯ್ತು, 24 IFR, same financials, same schedule 3 ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, same financials for less than a year. ಒಂದು ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್. less than a year, say quarterly financial reporting. Quarterly, every quarter ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಲಿಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ. ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. 26 ಆಯ್ತು. 27 ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ವೆಂಚರ್. ಯೂಸ್ ಪ್ರಪೋರ್ಷನೇಟ್ ಕನ್ಸಾಲಿಡೇಷನ್ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. use proportionate consolidation within the bracket unlike total consolidation under AS 21. Artha aita? Next, AS 28 impairment, mainly for PP and intangibles. CARA, CARA, carrying amount is greater than recoverable amount. CAM and RA impairment. 29 is covered already. Provisions, contingent liability, contingent asset. Contingent provisions, AS 29, provision within the financials. Contingent liability, LA.
Below the balance.
Balance sheet item.
Notes to accounts. Contingent asset,
Not to be included.
normally not disclosed. Prudence. That Enrico. Yeah. So very important. Come back. You are the heroine.
Shareholding greater than 5% disclose. Disclose only 5 years. Consideration other than cash. Bonus shares. Shares bought back.
Compulsorily for next 5 years, you will disclose this. Shares issued for consideration other than cash. Say years 14, amalgamation adaga, shares are issued for assets acquired. Years 14, Rahul J. Years 14. Next. Another one.
Debit balance in P&L under reserves and surplus.
Now debit balance is reserves surplus. Share application money pending allotment separately shown. It is separately shown on the money. Next. Today there is no concept called sundry debtors, trade debtors, outstanding for more than 6 months from the due date of payment. Due date of payment. Please elaborate. So financial statements, schedule 3 ಅಲ್ಲಿ 3 divisions ಇದೆ. ಇದರ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ division 1 ನಿಮ್ಮ syllabus, my syllabus ಅಂತ ಬರೆದಿ. Start with the equity. Division 2 India's company, final syllabus. Start with the assets, NBFC. All the 3, part 1 is the balance sheet, part 2 is the statement of payment. Land, building or both, immovable property. Shetty sir CA, building for office is ES10. Kirti real estate businesswoman, Singita Matakariya. Shetty sir office building is ES10. Kirti real estate business, normally ES2, inventory avlige. All office andre ES10. Rakshita, building for letting out. It is ES10 investment property, but discussed in ES13. So investment property pakabari, only cost model, depreciation permitted. Right? All depreciable assets are PPE. And all PPE are not depreciable assets. What is the difference? Wherever you are able to estimate the useful life version, that is called depreciable asset. Where you are not, they are called fixed asset. For example, building, machinery, furniture, you can estimate the life. Land is non-depreciable. Livestock is non-depreciable. So the discussion n number of times ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ, but Akshata t-shirt ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ. Depreciable asset where the useful life can be reasonably estimated. Land non-depreciable. Livestock ಮಾಡಬಹುದು but ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Wasting assets ಗೆ you land used for mining etc. lead to depletion. ಅದು extract ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ it will depletion ಅಲ್ಲ. This is the working capital what I told you right on the top. Current asset ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ story ಇದೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Equity is equal to owners funds is equal to shareholders funds is equal to equity also includes preference share capital. Reserves and surplus only revaluation reserve only place recent use only for depreciation on upward revaluation you can debit the same. ಬೇರೆ ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ನೆನಪಿದೆಯಾ? ವೆನೆವರ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಪ್ವರ್ಡ್ ರಿವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್, ಅದರ ಡಿಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಯೂಸ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್, ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ನೋವೇರ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯೂಸ್. ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಯೂಟ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ಸ್, these three by heart ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲವೆನ್ಸ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್, 10AA SC that reinvestment allowance reserve. Reasonably restricted capital reserve and CRR. This can be used for bonus issue. ನೆನಪಿದೆಯಾ? Security premium 52 subsection 2, 5 reasons where you can use. General reserve, P&L, investment fluctuation reserve, dividend equalization reserve. These are all the three reserves. Already discussion ಆಯಿತು. ನೋಟೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ವಾಪಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ಲೋಜರ್, ಗೂಡ್ಸ್ ಸೋಲ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ 1/7, trade period 4 months, outstanding as on 31st March X, goods sold 1/7, trade period 2 months, outstanding. So outstanding for more than 6 months considered good is Y. Outstanding other debts idu more than 6 months. Actually, goods sold on 1/7, period given is 2 months, 1819. So allinda 6 months outstanding. Illi period both you see, both are 1/7 only. Illi 4 months ide, illi 2 months ide. 4 months ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ 18, 19, 110, 111 ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ 6 months outstanding ಇಲ್ಲ. ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? ಯಾ, ರೈಟ್. ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಾಲಿಟಿ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಎನಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ which constitute 1% of the revenue from operation or 1 lakh, whichever is higher, has to be shown separately. This is materiality. It is given in part 2. 1% of the revenue from operation or 1 lakh, whichever here has to be shown separately. For example, sale of goods 400 lakh, commission 100 lakh, commission ತಗೊಳಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. You have to take only the revenue from operation, ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ 400 lakh. ಇದರ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ?
Yes.
Yeah. Incidental commission income, interest income, dividend income, other income. So consider only the revenue from operation. So okay, incidental commission you can take it. Interest ಅದರ ತಗೊಳಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. 500 lakh into 1% is 5 lakh, or 1 lakh, whichever is higher, must be shown separately. Right. So financial statements is hold ಬಂತ reasonable ಆಗಿ. The problems ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಇವತ್ತು go through DAO books ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಿರುತ್ತೆ. Yeah. Breathe in, breathe out ಮಾಡಿ 1 minute. ದಿವ್ಯಾ, ಈಗಷ್ಟೇ ಸರಿ ತಿಂದಿದ್ದಲ್ಲ ನೀನು?
ತಿಂದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬಾರ್ದಾ ಸರ್?
ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಲ್ಲ 10 ಸಲ ಬಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ತಿನ್ನೋ ಮೊದಲು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ, ತಿಂದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಬಡ್ಕೊಂಡಲ್ಲ ನಿನ್ಗೆ? ದೀಪ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು. ಯಾರದು ಆ ಕಡೆ? ಅವಳು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿ ನೀನ್ ಯಾರಂತ ನನಗೆ. ದೀಪ ಆ ಕಡೆ ಬಂದು ಹೆವಿ ತಿಂದು ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಲೈಟ್ ಹೋಟೆಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಇಷ್ಟೇ ತಿಂದಿದ್ದಾ? ಮಾಡಿ. Shall we? Okay. ರಿಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. 1 ನಿಮಿಷ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಡಿ. ಟೀಚರ್ ಹೋಗ್ಯೋಣ ಅಂತ ಮೂರು ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. Next standard is ES2, inventory valuation. What is inventory? So inventory definition ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ITC. Okay, inventories are make a circle, assets. Asset definition is given in ES26. ಬರೀ side by side. Held for sale in the ordinary course of business, that is nothing but finished goods in the process of production or sale, work in progress. Small c idu, in the small c material ಅಥವಾ supply. So finished goods work in progress, raw material ಅದನ್ನೇ ಬರೋದು ಆಯ್ತು. It is valued at cost or NRV, whichever is less. Now ಓದಮ್ಮ chart.
Valuation. Inventory should be valued at lower of cost and net or net realizable value. 5 arrow marks, mainly for raw material, work in progress, finished goods, physical verification and valuation, valuation lower of cost or NRV, LCM, cost formulae FIFO or VAP when goods are interchangeable, else specific identification, cost finding techniques, standard cost or RPM.
So production overheads, mainly the production overhead. Variable overhead is always based on actual production, make a circle. Whereas budgeted, fixed overhead is based on the budgeted production. However, when the actual output is higher, there also you go by actual production. Agreed? Indirect taxes AS2 always go by exclusive method. Exclusive method. Very important. Raw material is normally valued at cost. However, when NRV of both the finished goods and raw material both are lesser, then raw material also should be valued at the NRV. Disclosure of accounting policy, what you have followed, methods of stock valuation, then classification of inventory. Next, one more very big and important start. Cash flow statement is not a cash budget. Existing financials are now you're looking from a different angle. So classify the cash flow. Operating activity means principal revenue producing activity and other than investing and financing. Any cash flow relatable to P&L account, P&L account, then current asset, current liability is called operating activity. Any cash flow relatable to long-term investments, FDs is investing activity. Any cash flow relatable to the share capital, security premium loans is a financing activity. It's balance sheet correct. So any cash flow related to investments, long-term investments, dividend received, etc., is the investing activity. Any cash flow related to loans, interest paid is the financing activity. Every other item is called operating activity. Investment being cash equivalent, very short term. Cash in hand at the bank should be shown at the end of the CFS. Right. There are two ways of presenting operating cash flows. Direct approach is para 18A, receipts minus payments. Indirect approach is net profit as per P&L, add back. Then net profit as per P&L. Okay. Para 18A and 18B are not methods of CFS. They are only the methods of reporting the cash flows. In the side by side, P&L account of Teju Hotels. By sales 300. By profit on sale of plant. $20. Which is like a WDV 60. Next, two expenses. Revenue is 300.
300.
Expenses 200. To depreciation 60. To interest 30. Net profit 10. 10 30.
30.
30. Okay. Right. CFS and CFS capital A operating cash flow dash direct approach para 18 within the bracket small a. Is me control para 18 within the bracket small a. Operating very receipt from customers, nothing is given, entire amount is the receipt. Is there
300.
Yeah. Next, payment of business expense within the bracket 200.
200.
200. ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರುತ್ತೆ 100.
100.
The big or ಅದೇ ಎ ವಾಪಸ್ ಎ ಮಾ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಇಂಕಲ್ ಬರಿ ಎ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಇಂಕಲ್ ಬರಿ ಆಪರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಎರಡು ಬರಿಬಿಡಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ Aditi dash para 18 within the bracket small b. Bangalore in the sorry Katil in the Mumbai on the railway track. Not good. Operating cash flow within the bracket para 18 within the bracket b.
Indirect.
Indirect. Very net profit as per P&L
30.
Adjustment
Add
for non-cash. Adjustment for non-cash.
Depreciation.
Profit on plant. Profit on plant. Correct, you're right. Within the bracket 30. The credit agide andre add agide. Illri gothirli. Any item created andre add agide minus ಮಾಡಿ. Debit ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ deduct ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ add back. So minus profit on sale within the bracket 30. 30 or 20. Next, depreciation. Just
60.
Interest expense. Finance. Just
30.
Total list.
40.
100.
100 ಬರಬೇಕು ಮೇಲೆ 100 ಬಂತ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬಂತ ಮೇಲೆ 100 ಬರಬೇಕು ವೆದರ್ ಯು ಗೋ ಬೈ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಆರ್ ಇಂಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಬರಬೇಕು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅದು ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ವಿದಿನ್ ದ ಬ್ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಅಕ್ಷತಾ ಟೀಚರ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ within the bracket add decrease in current asset. Decrease in the current asset is the source slash add decrease in CA slash increase in CL. ಅದರ ಕೆಳಗೆ lesser ulta increase in CA slash
Decrease in CL.
decrease in CL. Within the bracket exclude cash and bank here. ಇಲ್ಲಿ cash and bank ತಗೊಳಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅದು shown at the end. So direct approach or indirect operating ಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಬೇರೆ ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ ಸೇಮ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ leave one line capital B investing activity. Anybody ಏನಿದೆ investing activity ಅಲ್ಲಿ
Proceeds from sale of plant.
very good anything related to fixed asset and whatever. Sale value of plant. How much?
80.
60 plus 20, 80. Thala use ಮಾಡಿ 80 ಸೇಲ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ 60 WDV 20 ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ತಲೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಬಟ್ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ ನಾವೇನು ಕೊಟ್ಟರು ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ ಕೊಡೋದು leave one line capital C cash flow from
Financing.
ಫಿನಾನ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಲೋದು ನಾನ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ಸೈಡ್ ಬಂದ್ರು ಹೋದ್ರು 3-4 ಜನ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಬಂದ್ರ ಕ್ಯಾಂಪಸ್ಗೆ
Payment of interest.
ಸೈಯದ್ ಶ್ವೇತಾ ಯಾರದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಡಿ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಫಿನಾನ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಿಮ್ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ತಲೆ ಕೆಟ್ಟೋಗ್ತಾನಪ್ಪ ನಾನು ನಿನ್ನೆವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಮುಗಿತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ ಅವ್ರು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವೇನು ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ಡ್ರಾಫ್ಟ್ 2-3 ರೈಟ್ ಏನಪ್ಪದು
Payment of interest.
Within the bracket
30.
Payment of what? Interest. Badi 30 within the bracket 30. Very good. So total ಎಷ್ಟಾಯ್ತು 100 plus 80 plus minus 30 150. ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನೆಟ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ನೆಟ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಅಂತ ಬರೀಬಹುದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಇದನ್ನೇ ಹೋಲ್ಡ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ನೆಟ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಇಕ್ವಲೆಂಟ್ 150 ಅದರ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಇಕ್ವಲೆಂಟ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ಬಿಗಿನಿಂಗ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸೇ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಸೇ 7 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಇದೆಯಾ ಡಿಜೆ 50 ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಆದ್ರೂ ಹುಡುಕಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದೆ 50 ಟೋಟಲ್ 200 ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಇಕ್ವಲೆಂಟ್ ದ ಎಂಡ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತು ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ this is about the cash flow statement okay right income tax always has to be shown separately and respective item, operating, investing, etc. Okay, right? Yelapa power.
Same doctor.
Okay, income tax and income tax to be shown separately. Next, PPE. Okay, PPE. Chart extremely important.
Property, plant, and equipment. PPE 3 points. Used in production or supply of goods and services.
Tangible and the very first. Tangible admire 3 points.
Used in production or supply of goods or services.
I said this is nothing but the plant. So production or supply is nothing but plant. Next.
Rental to others. Or
rental to others is nothing but property.
Or for administrative purpose.
Equipment. So the definition of PPE is in the order of plant, property, and equipment.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Okay. So alipakabari define in the order of plant, property, and equipment. Plant definition Deepa is used in production or service. Property is rental to others. Equipment is administrative purpose. And very important.
Measurement. Initially at cost model. Subsequently continue cost model or revaluation model.
Revaluation at regular intervals. Once say 3 to 5 years. For what? Anybody? Each class of asset and not for individual assets. NPDA. Yeah. Next.
Recognize if future economic benefits, that is FEB, will flow to the enterprise and if cost is measurable reliably.
For every asset and liability, recognition. Yav asset intangible agirbodu, current asset yavudru parayilla. Ee word use madbeku. Ide words. For every asset and liability, consider FEB and CMR. Future economic benefit under
Cost measurable
Cost
reliably.
measurable.
cost can be measured reliably. Next. Profit or loss on sale, P&L account. Disclosure, Dow books and refer money. Frequency, the head is already. Cost includes extremely important. COP, custom duty, non-input the GST, site preparation, restoration, repetition. Sir, cost of demolition, then cost of dismantling at present value. Any cost till date is ready to use. You have to exclude always a general overhead abnormal cost. To exclude right. Revaluation, upward. Revaluation to the downward. P&L account, ulta ಮಾಡುವಾಗ to the extent of credit earlier reverse model. Here in the recent
Yes, sir.
ES10 does not cover wasting assets, say mines, biological assets, living animal and plant, but covers a barren plant. Further, it also covers equipment used for about beautiful chart versus the class. Component method of depreciation mainly for aircraft, part by part model. Depreciation is ES10, amortization is intangible, revaluation is optional, impairment is mainly for upward and downward. Okay, sorry, PP, right? Next, bearer plant definition is that an asset which is used for more than 12 months to give the producer, and very rarely it will be cut. Recent class of model. Then we go. Carrying a book value is equal to balance sheet double value. Impairment ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಬೇಕಾದವರು ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. Disclosure requirement of ES10, Dow books, original cost, addition, depreciation, impairment. Then what is the method used for depreciation? Follow. ES11, deals with the three things. When there is a transaction in foreign currency, Aditi, important. So rate on the date of transaction. Next, foreign operations can be either integral or non-integral. Non-integral operation, everything by closing rate. Any exchange difference under non-integrated, transfer it to FCTR, foreign currency translation reserve, is to be maintained as it is till it is completely disposed of. Integral operation, PP and depreciation rate, historical rate, opening stock rate, opening rate, closing stock rate, closing rate. Head office account should not be converted because you already have in the head office account branch account in INR. Almost all other items at the closing rate. Any exchange difference, transfer it to P&L account immediately. The third one is a necessity forward exchange contract. The contract for the future. I am importing some items from Yako Yellow from Japan and they want to be paid to him on, let's say, 31st December. So what I do, assuming today is 1st March, amount to be paid on 30th June, original example. So for the future date, I ask him the rate. Today's rate is 70. He says you have to pay 72 rupees. 2 rupees extra what I pay is called premium. So a premium, Anna, if it is speculation for trading, transfer to P&L account right now. Otherwise than that, then you have to transfer to P&L account over the period. 1 month will come in the current year, 3 months comes in the next year. Foreign branch is a classic example of integral operation. According to foreign currency, integral and non-integral. Non-integral in the FCTR hogutte, foreign exchange contract. Any exchange difference arbitrary hogutte, P&L account. Foreign operation. Initial recognition on the date of transaction. Whereas integrally, head office account no conversion, P&L average rate, fixed asset and depreciation average rate, historical rate. Everything at a closing rate. Whereas non-integral, every item use closing rate, transfer to FCTR. Premium discount we discussed. Take a break. 325 will meet for those three standards and a problems on accounting standards. So, okay, na? Because problem explain martini, other break relax and cheat. 325 will meet. Dear friends, the next batch is starting tomorrow. Okay, welcome back. Indra?
Yes.
Yes.
November 22 article release ಆಗಿದೆ ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ? Just answer of article. ಇಲ್ಲ ಹಾಕಿರಲ್ಲ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ ನೋಡಿ. Announcement stating applicability and non-applicability. So all those applicability ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತದೆ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ? What is the notification up to 1st April ಅದು ಮಾತ್ರ ಚೇಂಜ್, ಬೇರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಬಲ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಯಾವ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ರೆಲೆವೆಂಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಗ್ಲಾನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ಇದು ಶೆಡ್ಯೂಲ್ 3 ನಲ್ಲಿ ಫಾರ್ಮೆಟ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅದು. Not applicable for November 22. ಓದಮ್ಮ ಇದನ್ನು ಓದಮ್ಮ.
Non-applicability of Ind AS for November 22 examination. The Ministry of Corporate Affairs has notified companies Indian Accounting Standards Rules 2015 on 16 Feb 2015 for compliance by certain class of companies. These Ind AS are not applicable for November 22 examination.
Interesting ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ Ind AS applicable ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಇನ್ನು these Ind AS not applicable ಅನ್ನೋದು ನನಗೇನು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡಿ, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ರೆಲೆವೆಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅಸ್. Right. So let us take up the questions which are relevant for yes. Kaansa ಇದೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ರಿಗೂ?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಸೈಡ್ ಬೈ ಸೈಡ್. 200 ಪೇಜ್ ಬುಕ್ ಅನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ November 22 ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. AS2 ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ AS1 ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಇದೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನಂಬರ್ 16. Question number 16. So RTP November 22 ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. AS2 question number 16.
The closing stock of finished goods at cost of a company amounted to 4,50,000. The following items were included at cost in the total: 100 coats which had cost rupees 2,200 each and normally sold for rupees 4,000 each. Owing to a defect in manufacture, their NRV was determined at 50% of their normal selling price. B.
So you have finished goods. Now quote, suit quote 100 quotes here. Cost is 2,200, but the selling price has come down by 50%. So that means 4,000 ka 50% is 2,000. Cost or NRV, whichever is less. So answer nodi. Same modilla. Ellu idira class adi?
Yes, yes,
Yes, sir.
Right.
sir.
So cost including the stock is 2,20,000. NRV is 2 lakh. Adjustment to be done is 20,000. Anartha eno. Sorry. Illi the finished goods valued at cost. Very all of you. ES2 valuation of inventories. As per ES2, because inventory ಬಗ್ಗೆ definition ಬರೆದಿ. Inventory should be valued at 2 RMRs. As per ES2, inventory should be valued at cost or NRV, whichever is less. Cost or NRV, whichever is less. In the given case, inventory consists of only finished goods. Observe what only finished goods, which is valued at a cost of 4,50,000. $4,50,000. $4,50,000. Okay. Full stop. Such cost of 4,50,000 inter alia. Inter alia andre amongst other items. Other item includes small a 100 quotes COETS valued at 100 into cost 2,200 2,20,000. 100 into 2,200 2,20,000. However, its NRV at 50% of the normal selling price. $100 into 2,000, 2 lakh. Therefore, additional amount included in inventory 20,000. Make a circle 20,000. Next, small b or capital B, shirts included at a cost of 50,000. Included at a cost of 50,000. It's next line. It's NRV 55,000 55,000. Their NRV with balance sheet was 55,000. 55,000, which is the bracket presumed to be NRV net of expenses. presumed to be NRV net of expenses, close the bracket, or 55,000 minus 10% commission. ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರುತ್ತೆ?
49,500.
Yes, sir.
ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಲ್ವಾ? Sorry, I didn't realize. Okay, 55,000 less what?
10% of commission.
10% commission.
10% commission is equal to 49,000.
1,500.
49,500. Below that, please note the term given, sorry, the term used for 55,000. Term used for 55,000 is NRV, not selling price. Hence, NRV 55,000 is after commission of 10%. Therefore, valuation at cost 50,000 or NRV 55,000, whichever is less, 50,000. Cost 50,000, NRV 55,000, whichever is less. That is at cost 50,000. Dash rightly made. Therefore, correct value of inventory as per AS2 inventory value at cost given 4,50,000. Inventory value at cost given 4,50,000. Thus, adjustment required for quotes 20,000. Store 20,000. 4 lakh.
1,20,000.
30,000.
4,30,000.
450 minus 20, 4,30,000. Again, just so simple, it may be a 5-mark question. Inventory is valued at cost or NRV, which is less. You have to read the question carefully. What did they say? Entire finished goods. First point is finished goods. Finished goods is always valued at NRV or cost, whichever is less. They have valued everything at cost. So, whereas one of the item NRV is lesser, that's why you should go with it. But second item is super confusing. NRV 55,000 given, but the commission again kottavare. So, NRV should be after commission anta tala use ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. NRV definition ಏನು? Selling price minus selling expense already ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗಿದೆ. Next line, general note. The example very general note. Please note valuation 2 RMRs left side. WIP and finished goods. Cost or NRV, whichever is less. Very less. Right side, raw material, etc. Raw material consumed, etc. Normally at cost. Normally at cost. However, when NRV of both raw material and WIP are lesser,
Replace.
Raw material should be valued at NRV.
very good. RM valued at NRV. Next, come to the left side, NRV. NRV star actually. For finished goods, NRV is equal to selling price minus estimated selling expenses. Right? Next, for WIP, NRV is equal to
Selling price minus estimated selling expenses minus cost
of conversion. Completion.
Please, cost.
one. So NRV of WIP is equal to NRV of finished goods supra, NRV of finished goods supra minus estimated cost of completion. As if it is finished goods togondo, in the completion what gets to what togondo, that's simple. Artha Deepa.
Yes.
Everybody understood?
Yes, sir.
So it's a very easy question. Again, you account start gottidre valuation. Alli ondu matra confusion. NRV amount 55,000. You would have done it. Adu madak hogಬೇಡಿ because NRV given 55,000. 55,000 minus 10% ಅಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಇದು ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಅದು ನೋಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ. Sometimes some suggestions ಅಲ್ಲಿ stupidly 55,000 minus 10% ಮಾಡೋ chances ಇದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ನೋಟ್ ಕೊಡಿ. Logically NRV word should be 55,000 only. That's what. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? Yeah, because even after some time ಇದು ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು they may say commission is expected to be further deducted ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ I am worried. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ನೋಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಗ್ರೇಟ್. Everybody understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes. Question number 17, PP. Udama.
RS Limited has acquired a heavy plant at a cost of rupees 2 crore. The estimated useful life is 10 years. At the end of the second year, one of the major components, that is the boiler, has become obsolete, which was acquired at price of rupees 50 lakh and requires replacement as further maintenance is uneconomical. The remainder of plant is perfect and it is expected to last for next 8 years. The cost of a new boiler is rupees 60 lakh. Can the cost of the new boiler be recognized as an asset? And if so, what should be the carrying value of the plant at the end of second year?
Additions to fixed asset. We discussed the regular class. Whenever the addition satisfies the conditions of PPE, it being tangible, it is expected to be used for more than 12 months. So you can obviously capitalize. First point. Point number 2, if the addition is also going to last for the balance years, you have to add it to the existing asset only. Whereas if the addition is going to be having an independent life, then it has to be recognized separately. Anybody remember the example of Rahul and Stepney? I had given the example of Stepney. Okay, Stepney is going to last along with the car. Then you have to add to the car. Otherwise, if that Stepney can be used with someone else, someone also is going to use that. So for some other car also, that Stepney is going to be used there. Then it has to be independent asset. After that, Pratibha, don't go rash. Car ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನೀವು ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗಬೇಡ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? All of you line ನೋಡಿ. It's easy question ನೋಡಿ. All of you right. ಒಂದು sentence ಬರಿ. Recognition of an asset. Can it be recognized as an asset? Answer. As per ES 26. ES 26. Read with ES 10. An asset is a resource controlled by enterprise. Honestly, tell me one ಇದನ್ನ question ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ is it not easy? ನಾನು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ ತರ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ ತೋರ್ಸಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಪಾಸ್. IPS ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಆದ್ರೂ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Resource controlled by enterprise based on the past event. Diksha, based on the based on the past event, which gives FEB. You know, February Varna.
Future economic
benefit. Full stop. In the given case, boiler is a component, Ashika.
Yes, sir.
Which will increase the economic benefit. Ready? Look at me for a minute. ನಾನು ಈಗ ವರ್ಡ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅದನ್ನೇ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೆ FEB ಮತ್ತೆ CMR ಅದನ್ನೇ ನೋಡಿ cost is measurable economic benefit. ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅದನ್ನೇ ಎಸೆಟ್ ಬಂದುಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಆಯ್ತು ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಸೊ ಇದು ಗಿವನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಯು ಟ್ರಸ್ಟ್ ಮೀ ಈಗ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆಯಾ ಪಾಪ ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೆ ಬಂದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಸೊ ಇದು ಗಿವನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಬಾಯ್ಲರ್ ಈಸ್ ಅನ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ which gives FEB and CMR. Exam ಅಲ್ಲಿ CMR, MMR ಎಲ್ಲ ಬರೀಬೇಡಿ. Future economic benefit and cost can be measured reliably. And so it has to be recognized as an asset. Asset definition is given in AS 26. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Question. Next line ಹೊಡಿರಿ. ಲೈನ್ ಹೊಡಿರಿ. ಒರಿಜಿನಲ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಅದು ನೋಡಿ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬಾ ಇಬ್ರು ಲೈನ್ ಹೊಡಿಲ್ಲ ಬಾರೆ ಅಂತವ್ರೆ. ನೋಡಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. At inception, cost of the plant 200 lakh. Next cut ಮಾಡಿ after 2 years. End ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ 10 years. ಆ 200 lakh ಕೇಳ್ಕೊತಾರೆ ಎಲ್ರು 200 lakh. ಸೊ 200 lakh ಗೆ ಸರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 2 RMRs, ಬಾಯ್ಲರ್ 50 lakh, ಅದರ್ ಕಾಂಪೋನೆಂಟ್ 150 lakh. ಟೂ ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಕಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ಲಸ್ 60 lakh. plus 60 lakh. ಇದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀ ಸೈಡ್ ಬೈ ಸೈಡ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ 60 lakh ಪಕ್ಕ ಬರೀ. ಪ್ರಿಸ್ಯೂಮ್ಡ್ ದಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕಾಂಪೋನೆಂಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಫಾರ್ 8 years. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟವರ ಬಟ್ ಬಾಯ್ಲರ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಲೀನ್ ಆಗಿ. ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೆಡ್ asset is going to last for balance 8 years. So presumed that such boiler is last for how many years?
8 years.
8 years. Hence added to the existing asset itself. Other the life ಏನಾದರೂ ದಿವ್ಯ ದೀಪ more than 8 years, less than 8 years, ಅದನ್ನು ಸೆಪರೇಟ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಆಗಿ ತಗೋಬೇಕು. ನೆನಪಿದೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಇದನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ನಿ ವಿತ್ ರಾಹುಲ್. ಸೊ ಏನಪ್ಪದು 8 years hence added to the existing asset itself. Therefore revise the carrying amount of plant at the end of 2 years. At the end of 2 years, ನಾನು ಎರಡು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಯಾವ್ದು ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಿ. ಆಪ್ಷನ್ 1 ರೈಟ್, ಅದರ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ 150 lakh, ಅದರ್ ಎಷ್ಟು 150 lakh less depreciation for 2 years. Depreciation for 2 years. Depreciation for 2 years. 150 lakh divided by 10 into 2. Life 10 years alva. Aditi, enta?
30.
150 lakh. 30 lakh. ತುಂಬಾ ಈಸಿ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಏನ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ನಮ್ಮಂತವ್ರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. 150 lakh divided by 10 into 2 is equal to 30 lakh. 120 lakh. Add cost of new boiler 60 lakh. 180 lakh. ಇಷ್ಟೇ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ 5 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ನೋಡಿ. ಬಟ್ 2 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಡೆಫಿನಿಷನ್ ಬರೆದಿದ್ದ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದು ಬರೆದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಕ್ಕುಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಆ FEB CMR ಪ್ರತಿ ಸರಿ ಪಂಚ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೇಳಿದೀನಿ, ಅದು ಮಾಡಿ ಈಸಿ. ಅದನ್ನೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದನ್ನೇ ಕೇಳಿ. ನಿಮ್ ಪಾಪ ನನ್ನ ಮುಖ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ ಕೇಳಿ ಬೋರ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಎಂಜಾಯ್. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಓಕೆ. ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ವಾಪಸ್ ಆ ಮಂಚೆ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬರ್ತಿದಾಗ ರೈಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಆರ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ 2. This is the left side is the easy approach. Probably the right approach is right side. Option 2. Original cost 200 lakh. Less depreciation for 2 years. 200 divided by 10 into 2 years, 40 lakh, 160 lakh, less D words use ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಲ್ಲಿ de-recognition of old boiler. De-recognition. Recognition ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತಗೊಂಬಾರ್ದು. De-recognition ತೆಗೆಯೋದಲ್ಲ. De-recognition of de-recognition. D10, D2 ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ ತೇಜಸ್ವಿನಿ. ಟ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ D10 ತೆಗೆಯೋದು. ಟೂರ್ ಉಲ್ಟಾ ಎಲ್ಲ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ D2 ಆಗೋದು. ಓಕೆನಾ? ಡಿಟಾಕ್ಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ಲೆಸ್ de-recognition of old boiler. At its very good. At its WDV bar carrying amount. It's a complication actually. Left one is easy. Within the bracket 50 lakh less depreciation for 2 years. 10 lakh. 50 lakh is the cost of the asset. Other depreciation is 50 lakh by 10 years into 2. 10. So 40 lakh. Tejaswini J. Video of it. Difference. Accident.
120.
So ಎಷ್ಟು ಬಂತಪ್ಪ 120. Add new boiler 60 lakh. ಸಾಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ. Now do you at least trust me that accounts start questions are easy? To both the questions, whatever we discuss ಅದನ್ನೇ ಬಂದಿದೆ 120 plus ಯಾರಪ್ಪ ಪ್ರೇಮ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಆಡಿಯೋ ಮಾಡೋಣ. So 120 plus 60 ಎಷ್ಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ 180 lakh. Everybody understood both the approaches. Left side approach also will get the marks. See, because so ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಬರಬೇಕು 50 lakh has been removed. ತೆಗಿಬಿಡಿ straight away. WD3 because question asked is only the what is the carrying amount of the device asset. 150 lakh minus 150 lakh minus depreciation of that plus 60 lakh. Everybody understood? Next
Yes,
line.
sir.
Next line. Therefore, ಇದು ಕೇಳಿಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ ಜನರಲ್ ನೋಟ್. Therefore, depreciation in the future. Depreciation in the future under SLM. $180 lakh by 8 years. 180 lakh divided by 8 more years. Correct alva?
Yes, sir.
Assuming there is no residual value. ಎಷ್ಟಪ್ಪ?
22.5 lakh.
ಅವ್ರು ಕೇಳಿಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಒಂದು ಜನರಲ್ ನೋಟ್ ಬರೀರಿ. SLM depreciation. Stupid notes, but right, enjoy. Cost 100 lakh, life 10 years. SLM ಬರಲ್ಲ. Option 1. Option 1. Stupid. ಬರೀ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ದೀಪ ಏನ್ ದೀಪ KP stupid ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ ನೋಡ್ತಾರೆ ಬರೀ 100 first year 100 by 10 lakh. Second year 100 by 10 lakh. Third year 100 by 10 lakh. Dot. Ramya bare paragila. Or right side. First year 100 by 10 lakh. Here ಕೆಲವರಿಗೆ ಶಾಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. First year 100 by 10 lakh. Second year
90 by 9.
90 lakh by 9 years. WDV is equal to SLM. Recent ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ ನಾನು 90 lakh by 9 years is equal to 10 lakh. 10 lakh 90 lakh ಬಂತ ಯಾರಿಗಾದ್ರು 90 lakh by 9 years 9 lakh ಬಂದಿಲ್ವಾ? Next third year ದೀಪಾ 80 lakh by 8 more years. 80 lakh by 8 more years. ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಬಂತಾ? That's how we did 180 by 8 more years ಅಂತ prospective. If anything in S10 is a prospective. ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ವಾ? Did you feel it easy honestly?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Next S11 ಓದಮ್ಮ. ಎಂತ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ನೋಡಿ. ಓದಮ್ಮ.
A company had imported raw materials with $6 lakh on 5th January 2022 when the exchange rate was rupees 43 per $. The company had recorded the transaction in the books at the above mentioned rate.
That is called spot rate. On the date of the transaction, spot rate. Next.
The payment for the import transaction was made on 5th April 2022 when the exchange rate was rupees 47 per $. However, on 31st March 22, the rate of exchange was rupees 48 per $. The company passed an entry on 31st March 22, adjusting the cost of raw materials consumed for the difference between rupees 47 and rupees 43 per US
Thank
dollar.
you. 43 and
47 and 43.
but 31st March rate is
48.
48.
48. So question here is it the correct treatment? Question number 18, ES11. ES11. Line nodiri. Multiple. This example maadi ಏನು ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. Yeah. Line nodiri. First cut 5th January $6 lakh at 43. Next cut 31st March. Is the exchange rate 48.
48.
Next settlement date 4th April. I read the
5th.
Settlement date 5th April. 5th April. Rupees 47. Next line. As per ES11, the type ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಇದು ರಿವೈಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಾ? ರಿವೈಸ್ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ 20 years ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ರಿವೈಸ್ ಅಂತ. ಬಟ್ ಸಮಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಯು ಮೈಟ್ ರೈಟ್ ES11 ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕೆಟ್ R ಅಂತ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಬರೆದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಓಕೆ. 20 years ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ರಿವೈಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ರಾಹುಲ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಬಾರ್ನ್ 20 years ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಅಂತ ಆತ. As per ES11, the effects of changes in forex rates. Trade payable being monetary item. Monetary na? You have purchased the goods and ಹೇಳವ್ರೆ. Trade payable being a monetary item must be restated as on 31st March by using
Closing rate.
closing rate. ಇದು theory ಬರೆದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ you lose the mark. By using closing rate, comma, semicolon. Any exchange difference must be taken to
And
P&L. In the given case, one by one, small a, recognizing 43 per dollar, recognizing at 43 per dollar on what date? 5th January. By considering rate of the date. By considering rate of the date, which is the bracket spot rate. Is correct. Copy here, correct. Small b. Rating color. But as on 31st March 22, you should have been restated by using closing rate. ನಮ್ಗೇನ್ ಗೊತ್ತು ತುಂಬಾ ಈಸಿ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ಕೆಲವು ಸಲ ಬರೆಯಕ್ಕೆ ಲೇಸಿನೆಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಓಡಿಸ್ಕೋತೀವಿ ನಾವು. ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಓಡಿಸ್ಕೋತೀವಿ ನಾವು ಅಲ್ವಾ? ತುಂಬಾ ಈಸಿ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೆಯೋದು ಅಂತ ಅದು ಬರೆದ ಮೇಲೆ ಓಡಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀವಿ ಆಯ್ತು. By using closing rate, that is 48 per dollar. Therefore, $6 lakh into rupees 5. $6 lakh into rupees 5. That is rupees 30 lakh. Should be shown as an exchange loss in the P&L of financial year 21-22. Financial year 21-22. Full stop and continue. Cost of materials should not be adjusted. Or ಏನು ಮಾಡೋರೆ? Cost of material adjust ಮಾಡೋರೆ, ಮಾಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. Cost of materials should not be adjusted. Next point, see. On 5th April 22, rupee 148 minus 47 ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗಿದೆ. Should be accounted as should be accounted as exchange gain. Exchange gain in the P&L. Therefore, accounting treatment given by the entity with the company is incorrect. With the company is incorrect. Company anta ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, that means company P&L account act. Here P&L account is incorrect. So ಕೆಳಗೆ P&L account extract. Statement of P&L extract. For the year ending 31st March 22, leave 2-3 line, break expenses. Under that, cost of material consumed, ₹6 lakh into 43.
Yes, sir.
43.
248 lakh. 258 lakh.
258 lakh. Good. You didn't use the calculator. $6 lakh into 43 is 258 lakh. Leave 1 or 2 lines. Exchange loss. Just a
1
lakh into 5 ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ 30 lakh. ಕಣ್ವಾ 30 lakh. ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡೋರ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ತಪ್ಪದು. ಅಂಡ್ ರೇಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದು ತಪ್ಪು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ? ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈನ್. Similarly, 6 lakh into 1, 6 lakh should be shown as exchange gain in the next year. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ದೇವರಿಗೆ? ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಥ್ರೂ ದ ಆನ್ಸರ್. ಎವ್ರಿಬಡಿ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್? ಈಸಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಈಸಿ? ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್. Let's quickly go through 3 small standards. Yes, 12 answer. Yeah. Government grant. Government grant is basically subsidy, etc. What is it? Share screen aagta idea?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The 2 punch words. You should recognize the government grant. When can I recognize? RMPD, recognition again. When there is a reasonable assurance, the word is before, that the conditions attached are satisfied and a grant will be received. Receipt of the grant itself is not a conclusive proof that you are going to satisfy the conditions. Grant can be revenue grant. Revenue grant is directly taken to the parent account either separately as other income, other income, or reduced from the concerned expenses. Women's subsidy for remote employment if you have got a subsidy. Capital grant can be monetary grant or non-monetary. Non-monetary grant free of cost record at a nominal value. When land is received, okay, free of cost. Land account debit to parent account 1 rupee. ಅಥವಾ 100 lakh worth of land you are receiving at 20 lakh. Land account debit to bank account 20 lakh. Monetary grant andre for purchasing an asset they are giving you the grant. Either you reduce from the cost of the asset, okay, ಅಥವಾ show asset at a full cost and subsidy shown as a deferred revenue grant. Regular class notes ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. If it is towards non-depreciable fixed asset, it is a capital reserve. Same way, promoter contribution also should be taken to capital reserve. Promoter contribution also should be taken to capital. If refund of government grant is an extraordinary item as per ES 9, whatever treatment you have done earlier should be exactly reversed. In the middle is the quicker work. revenue grant, 3 RMRs. Revenue grant to P&L. Next. Capital grant towards non-depreciable. Capital grant towards non-depreciable asset. And promoter's contribution. Promoter's contribution to be taken to capital reserve. Arthaita? So what goes to P&L is revenue grant. What go to capital reserve is capital grant towards a non-depreciable asset. Land will never come to the balance sheet. P&L. It has to be taken to capital. Promoter's contribution is there for setting up a new unit in the area. So we need to transfer that amount to capital. Arthaita? Arthaita? Yene heli third RMR. Very third mark. All other grants are routed through balance sheet. Hi Manya. All other grants are routed through balance sheet. Say as a reduction of fixed asset. Arthaita? Is a reduction from fixed asset. Next, yes, 13. Important big standard can be for 20 marks. Investments are again assets. Assets as per AS26. FEB and CMR, which gives you the dividend, interest, etc., or capital appreciation, or any other benefits. Okay. Assets held as stock in trade are not investments. Investments are classified into 2 RMRs. Current investments valued at cost or fair value, whichever less. Long-term investments are always valued at cost, unless there is a permanent decrease. Cost is cost of purchase, incidental expense minus interest or dividend if it is a come interest transaction. Very, very important. Reclassification. When long-term investments are classified into current investment, it is valued at cost or carrying amount. Long-term cost or carrying. Current investments are reclassified in long-term. Cost is a common figure or fair value, whichever is less. So, innonsala heltini ali green ink alli kelsa madi. Long-term or short-term, both cases cost is a common figure. Whereas long-term to current madadaga, you need to theory kelidare tumba jana. Okay. So long-term to current cost or carrying amount, whichever is less. Current investments are reclassified long-term, different ink alli. Okay. So it is cost or fair value, whichever is less. Barcoding. Regular notes are there. Reclassification. Reclassification. 2 RMRs. Long-term to current. Arti, right side, current to long-term. Arti bandar, Arti or Auntie bandara. Class Lara no summer bandar. Rahul, Arti ne. Is it Arti only? I mean, doubt. Now, Yara is the
Auntie only, sir.
Auntie only. Okay. Next. Auntie in a different avatar. So, long-term, let's say long-term to current. Right side what? Current to long-term. Long-term to current kalage, cost or carrying amount which are less. Cost is common. Right side. Current to long-term,
Cost
or fair value.
Fair value which
The 20 marks baratte. It's in comparing the load point. Next, last standard of group 1. Borrowing cost. Borrowing cost incidental to acquisition, construction, or production relating to qualifying asset till it is ready to use should be capitalized. Should be capitalized. So what is borrowing cost? IDAFE. Interest cost, discount amortization, ancillary cost, finance charges, then a exchange difference. Qualifying asset means an asset which takes substantial period of time. Underline. Types of borrowing. Borrowing can be specific borrowing. So whatever the cost incurred minus income on temporary investment. General borrowing go by weighted average cost of capital. Suspension of capitalization when the active development is interrupted, like riots, etc. cessation when the assets are ready to use, and accounting policy to be followed. So group 2 ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು. ಇದರ ಡೆಫಿನಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಬೈ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಕೆಳಗೆ ಇನ್ವೆಂಟರಿ ಡೆಫಿನಿಷನ್. ಇನ್ವೆಂಟರೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್. ಫಿನಿಶ್ಡ್ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್ WIP raw material order ಇದೆ. NRV estimate selling price minus estimate cost of completion minus estimate selling expense. Ordinary activity, make important mark, underline ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Principal revenue producing activity and other than investing and financing. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಇದೀರಾ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Investing is acquisition and disposal of long-term assets and other investments. Financing, any change in size and composition of owner's capital. Carrying amount andre ali bari CA is equal to OC minus accumulated depreciation minus accumulated impairment loss. Cost, okay. The cash or cash equivalent paid. Depreciation, systematic allocation. Ide word barbeku. Of depreciable amount over its life. Adu formula based within the bracket. Depreciation is equal to, cost minus estimated scrap divided by life.
Estimated useful life.
Life, very good. Depreciable amount, ade cost minus residual value. PPE, again, very, very important. Tangible assets. First plant ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇದು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ? ಮೈ ನ್ಯೂ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಯಾರು ಇದ್ರೆ, ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎಕ್ವಿಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತಿದೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ, ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಸಪ್ಲೈ. ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ ರೆಂಟಲ್ ಟು ಅದರ್ಸ್. Then equipment is administrative purpose and held for more than 12 months. Fair value is arm's length price, which could be exchanged between two knowledgeable persons in an arm's length transaction. Useful life, expected to be there for long. Integral operation, as if it is extension of activities. Okay, the activities which are integral part of the reporting enterprise. Non-integral is other than integral. Government grant, assistance by the government in cash or kind. In satisfaction of conditions. Our conditions ಬರಬೇಕು. ಪಂಚವಾಡ. Investments ಈಗಷ್ಟೇ ಓದಿದೆ. Current investment which are readily realizable. Intended to be borne not more than 1 year. Long term is other than current. Borrowing cost, interest and other cost. Qualifying asset, take which substantial product. How to answer yes questions. I think recently we discussed. ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದರ ಥಿಯರಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬರೀ, ಅನಾಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಥಿಯರಿ ಬರೆದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದ್ರ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲನೇಷನ್ ಕೊಡಿ. ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಆದ್ರೆ 1 ಲೈನ್ ಥಿಯರಿ ಬರೆದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಬರೀ. ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ದೋ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ AS12 ಓದಮ್ಮ.
Samrat Limited has set up its business in the designated backward area, which entitles the company for subsidy of 25% of the total investment from Government of India. The company has invested rupees 80 crores in the eligible investments. The company is eligible for subsidy and has received rupees 20 crores from the government in Feb 2022. The company wants to recognize the said subsidy as its income to improve the bottom line of the company. Do you approve?
Bottom line ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? What is the bottom line? ಬರೀ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನಂಬರ್. ಬಾಟಮ್ ಲೈನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಬಾಟಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಾಟಮ್ ಲೈನ್ ಅಂತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸಮ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟಿಂಗ್ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ದೇ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಬರೀ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನಂಬರ್, ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನಂಬರ್? ಕನ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟಿವ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. 90 ರೈಟ್. P&L account, net profit shown at the bottom is called bottom line. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ FML ಇನ್ನೇನೋ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಇದೆ, ಬಟ್ ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಇಸ್ ಸಾಕು ನಮಗೆ. ಅದೇ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನೇನೋ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇಲಾಬರೇಟಿವ್ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಇದೆ. ಫೈನಲ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು. ಸೊ ಬಾಟಮ್ ಲೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕಂಪನಿ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್? ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಶೋನ್ at the bottom of the P&L is called
Bottom line.
Lalu Prasad Yadav was giving a Thanksgiving speech in his state. So he said, so special thanks to all the people from the bottom of my heart and also from my wife's bottom. Continue. So bottom line and net profit, communication issues. Okay, continue. Yeah. So net profit is got bottom line. Bottom line. Right. So now the question here is, ಸೊ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಏನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು, ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಎ ರೆವಿನ್ಯೂ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸ್ಬೇಕಂತ. ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಸ್ ರೆವಿನ್ಯೂ ಸಬ್ಸಿಡಿ. ಅದು ರೆವಿನ್ಯೂ ಸಬ್ಸಿಡಿ ಡೇ ಟು ಡೇ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಬರೀ ಆಸ್ ಪರ್ AS 12 grants can be classified into three RMRs. Revenue grant, right? Grant for day-to-day functioning. Grant for what? Day-to-day functioning. Second remark. ನಾನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಲ್ಲ, ಟ್ರಸ್ಟ್ ಮೀ. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ remark, ಯಾರು ನಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಮಲಗಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಡೋದು. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ remark, capital grant mainly for investment in capital assets. Last one. Next, last one, promoters' contribution. That is for investment in undertaking. Or like a capital contribution. Third remark, grant given is for investment in the undertaking. Hence, it should be credited to
capital reserve.
Simple theory, ಓದಿದ್ರೆ ಅದೇ ಬರದೆ ಆಯ್ತು. Credited to capital reserve. Is it complicated? Honestly, capital reserve, credited to capital reserve, which cannot be distributed as a dividend. Next line. Therefore, company's decision to take it as an income is incorrect. 9 out of 10 times ಈ ತರ ಕ್ವಶನ್ incorrect ಇರೋದು. ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಸರ್ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅಂತ ಬರಕಾಗಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ಲುಕ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ಕಾಮನ್ ಸೆನ್ಸ್. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಸೇ ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್, ಎಸ್ ಸರ್ ಅಂತ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೊಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಇನ್ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ರೀಸನ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ದಟ್ಸ್ 9 out of 10 times incorrect ಇರುತ್ತೆ. 9 out of 10 times. Next. Question number 13. Onama. ಬೇಡ, ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಇದು. Portion of current purchase at 25 lakh to be reclassified. Hello, ಕೇಳಿದಂಗಿದೆ ದೇವರು. Very question number 13. State reclassification. Current investment into long term. ಈಗಷ್ಟೇ ಬರೋದಲ್ಲ ಚಾರ್ಟ್. ಹೇಳಿ. At cost of fair value. Current to long term ಆದ್ರೆ ರೈಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಬಂದಿತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಫೇರ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ whichever is less. That is cost 25 lakh. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾರೆ or fair value 30 lakh, whichever is less 25 lakh. ಆಯ್ತಾ?
Yes, sir.
Next, point number 2. Okay, point number 2, same. Okay. Cost 20 lakh or fair value 12.5 lakh. You know the answer is there. 20 lakh or 12.5 lakh, whichever is less, 12.5 lakh. Therefore, write down of 7.5. First case ಅಲ್ಲಿ fair value ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇತ್ತು, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇದೆ ಅನನ್ಯ. First case ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿತ್ತು ಅನನ್ಯ ಶೆಟ್ರೆ 25 lakh and 30 lakh. So 30 lakh ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ. So you don't have to do anything. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ cost 20 lakh, fair value 12.5 ಆಗಿದೆ. Therefore, write down of 7.5 lakh to be charged to P&L. Third point, long-term investment into current investment. Ready?
Or carrying amount whichever is less.
Cost or carrying amount, whichever is less. Cost 10 lakh, carrying amount 11 lakh. Whichever is less is ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
Sir, cost 15 lakh.
Cost 15 lakh. Carrying amount 11 lakh. Carrying amount ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗಿದೆ ಯಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ. ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರಿಂಗ್ ಮೈನಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ 15 lakh, ಕ್ಯಾರಿಂಗ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ 11 lakh, whichever less is 11 lakh. ಆ ಒಂದು ಚಾರ್ಟ್ ನಾನು ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಮಾಡಿಸಿದ್ದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಆನೆಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಐ ನಾಟ್ ಸೀನ್ ದ ಕ್ವಶನ್, ಈಗಲೇ ಓಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. ಅಷ್ಟು ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ 5 marks. ಈಸಿ ನಾಟ್ ಈಸಿ, ಬಟ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕು. ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ are you getting at least reasonable comfort with the account standards?
Yes, sir.
Harish Construction Company is constructing a huge building project consisting of 4 phases. It is expected that the full building will be constructed over several years, but phase 1 and phase 2 of the building will be started as soon as they are completed. Following is the detail of the work done on different phases of the building during the current year. Phase 1 to 4, cash expenditure, building purchase, total expenditure of all phases, loan taken at 15% at the beginning of the year. During mid of current year, phase 1 and phase 2 have become operational. Find the total amount to be capitalized and to be expensed during the year.
So, any expenditure till date asset is ready to use has to be capitalized. In the middle of the current year, phase 1 and phase 2 ಆಗಿದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಪೋರ್ಷನೇಟ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ನ ಟಿಲ್ ದಟ್ ಡೇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಅದರ ನಂತರ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಟು ರೆವಿನ್ಯೂ. ಬರೀ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈನ್ ಸೋರಿನೇ ಬಾರೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ನಾವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ 4 times ಜಾಸ್ತಿನೇ ಇದೆ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಅದು ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಬರೀ ಆಸ್ ಪರ್ A16 ಬಾರೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಅದು ಬರೀಬೇಕು ಹೆಡ್ಡಿಂಗ್. BC ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ನೆನಪಿದೆಯಾ? BC ಡ್ಯಾಶ್ ACP. ACP ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನೋ?
Acquired construction or
production. ACP of qualifying asset. Qualifying asset which takes more substantial production. Till ready to use. Namaskar Meera. Class I have collected. Okay, substantial product time. Okay, qualifying asset is till it is ready to use, capitalized. ಈ ಬ್ಯಾಚಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ದು ಇಬ್ರು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಮೇಟ್ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ವೆರಿ ನೈಸ್. ಅದೇನೆ ಅನನ್ಯ ಅಂಡ್ ಅನಿರುದ್ಧ ಅವೆಲ್ಲದವರು ಮಲ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಇವರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಮೇಟ್, ಬಿಕಮ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಮೇಟ್ ಅವ್ರ ಮಕ್ಕಳು. ಇಟ್ ಡಸಂಟ್ ಮೀನ್ ದಟ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ವೆರಿ ಓಲ್ಡ್. ನಾವು ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಸೊ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ರಿಟನ್.
Till ready to use is capitalized.
Borrowing cost or ACP of qualifying asset till it is ready to use has to be capitalized. In the given case, project has happened in 4 phases. Phase spelling PHACE, English ಬರಿಬೇಡ. 4 phases. 4 phases. Phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 and phase 2 has completed in the middle of the current year. Therefore, interest of phase 1 and phase 2 till middle of the current year should be capitalized.
Capital.
Line noಡಿರಿ. 0, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. So simple questions. ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ತಲೆ ಕೆಟ್ಟೋಗಿದೆ. Easy. ನಿಮ್ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ದೀಪಾ, ನಿಮ್ ತಲೆ ಕೆಟ್ಟೋಗ್ಲಿ ಸರ್, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಯಾ, ಬಟ್ ಟ್ರಸ್ಟ್ ಮೀ, ಇದು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಫ್ಲೋ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಕ್ವಶನ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಈಸಿನೇ, ಈಸಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಓಡಿಸ್ಕೊಳಕ್ ಈಸಿ. ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಈಸಿ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡಂತೆ ಹೋಯ್ತು. ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ದ ವೇ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್. ಇದಕ್ಕೂ ಇದು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ಥಿಯರಿ ಚಿಲ್ಡ್ರನ್. ಇದು ಮ್ಯಾಥಮೆಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಬರೀ ನನ್ನ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಿ. ಲೈನ್ ನೋಡಿ, 0, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. phase 1 and phase 2 ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಬ್ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಹಾಕಿ, ಅದರ ಕೆಳಗೆ phase 1 ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ
34.
phase 1 ಗೆ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ 34 lakh, phase 2 64 lakh, phase 3 ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಬ್ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀ 55 lakh. ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನೀವೇ ಸರ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಬೇಡ. phase 1 34, phase 3 55, phase 4 ಎಷ್ಟು 68 lakh. 68 lakh ಬರೋದು, ಎಲ್ಲ ಬರೋದಾ? ಆ phase 1 ಮತ್ತೆ phase 2 ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಬ್ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಕೊಡಿ, ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬರೀ completed in the middle of the current year. One by one, small year. Total loan 200 lakh. Total interest 200 lakh into 15%, 30 lakh. Small c, treatment of interest bar borrowing cost. ಅಲ್ಲಿ 1, 2, 3, 4 ಫೇಸ್ ಬರಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಎಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರಲ್ಲ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ
221
ಬರುತ್ತೇನೋ. 221 lakh. 221 lakh. So next, total treatment of interest 2 RMRs related to phase 1, phase 2. Related to phase 1, average control, average. So for 221 lakh, it is 30 lakh into, which is the bracket, ಅದು ಎರಡು phase 1, phase 2, which is the bracket, ಬರೀ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅದು
98.
34 plus 64, which is the bracket 98. Is right? ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಟೋಟಲ್ 221 lakh ಗೆ 30 lakh ಆದ್ರೆ 98 ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
13.303.
13,30,317. 13,30,317. 2 RMRs, left side green ink for half of the year. ಅದು ಫುಲ್ ಇಯರ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಹಾಫ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಇಯರ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರುತ್ತೆ? ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಬೈ 2 ಮಾಡಿ.
6,65,158.
665,158.50. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಹಾಫ್ ಅಂತ ಬರೀ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಹಾಫ್ 665,158.50 to be capitalized. Therefore, total project cost of phase 1, phase 2 34 lakh plus 64 lakh plus 665,158.50. Right side, second half Stay amount very different. 665, 158.50. Cessation of capitalization. Capitalization stop. Very good. Cessation of capitalization. Cessation of capitalization. That is, charge the same to P&L account as a revenue expense. Simple basic maths. Completely right side. Balance interest. 30 lakh minus 13 lakh money. We are keeping in
16 lakh 69,683.
1669,683. Or 30 lakh divided by 221 lakh. This is the 30 lakh is for 221 lakh into phase 3, phase 4 amount
123 lakh.
55 plus 68.
55 lakh plus 68 lakh. So 30 lakh divided by 221 lakh into 55 plus 68 lakh. Stable make amount.
Yes, sir.
Below that, right? Still in progress. Hence, it has to be capitalized. It has to be capitalized. Therefore, total cost of phase 3, phase 4, capital work in progress. Total cost of phase 3, phase 4. I'm using some better words, sir. Use body. Total cost of phase 3, phase 4, capital work in progress is equal to 55 plus 68 plus
16 lakh 69,683.
139 lakh 69,683.
Be honestly tell me what there even a single accounting standard question which you are not able to answer. Even without my help, you would have done it. Only what I did here is the presentation skills, how to do it, and the all standard of group one theory problem. Now, full go through all questions of the study material of ICI, RTP. November 22 RTP, May 22 RTP. Notes I think today, whatever left out portion, I'm not sure we have a class. So, reasonably comfortable. I'll come back for one more class, okay? For that other portion of the accounts, like single entry system, one portion is company accounts. RTP RTP go through. RTP is starting announcement glance madi. This is final account question. This is final account prepare madake. Trial balance kodidare. Kelskottare devaro.
Yes.
Trial balance kodidare. Idanna ella each simple question madi. Managerial remuneration 11%, 11% adare gottalva. Inni ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇದನ್ನ ಅದನ್ನ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಒಂದು ಪೋರ್ಷನ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಕಂಪನಿ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಆಯ್ತು. Mana, ready idira?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Come back. Okay. So company accounts madi. Company account madi. So maybe the income tax on 1 hour madakide log down ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕು require. Okay. ನೋಡ. So final accounts company madi. Question madi. Final account question madi. Managerial remuneration. If you think you can do it, you do it. Cash flow statement, competency question is madi. Idella questions. But other topics which is not yet done, ಅದು ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಡಿ. ಸರ್ ಬಂದು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Okay?
Yes, sir.
YouTube.